Did I not ask you not to touch it? Oh, yes. And you touched it. Oh, somebody.
You're live.
Is anybody there?
What is half in the
Is anyone there? I'm not hearing anything. I just keep getting muted.
The meeting has not yet started. Stand by. We'll let you know when to start.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And more to stimulate them. Thumbs up.
Everyone on. Okay. I'm just wondering when we restart. So we can 10 minutes. Yeah. Open your hand. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, we'll be starting the meeting in 1 minute. Okay, we're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order of the Board of County Road Commissioners of the County of Kalamazoo for our June 16th, 3 p.m. meeting. The first order of business is the public comment guidelines. Ms. Ryder.
This meeting is being provided under Act 267 of the Public Acts of 1976 as amended, or commonly referred to as the Open Meetings Act. During public comment, participants will have the opportunity to address the board at the beginning of the meeting and at the end of the meeting for non-agenda items. Public comments should be provided at the podium in order to ensure proper audio. Public comments, statements, or questions shall be limited to not more than 3 minutes for each person addressing the board. To provide public comment by Zoom, use the raise hand feature in the Zoom application. The host will ask you to unmute. For telephone audio, use *9. Use *6 to toggle back and forth between mute and unmute. As you participate in the meeting, your microphone will be placed on mute. The chat feature shall only be used to address any technical issues for public participation.
Thank you, Ms. Ryder. Please rise if able for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The goal of the Board of County Road Commissioners of the County of Kalamazoo is using our expertise, energy, and funds to provide the safest and most convenient road system possible and to contribute to the economic development and high quality of life throughout the county. Our goal is to maintain a county road system that is safe and convenient for public travel and to manage the roadside environment with a view towards preservation. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
So, Chair, I would like to amend the agenda. I would like in a new business to make the request discussion of the draft tree replacement policy and put that to the end so that we can have time to discuss it and get our other business going first.
So, is there a second?
I'll make it.
Any discussion from the road commissioners on this? Hearing none, the item B will now be item E, and the rest of the new business will continue as listed. All in favor of approving the agenda as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. The agenda is approved. The amended agenda is approved. Next is the approval of the minutes of the June 2nd board meeting. A motion would be in order.
Motion to approve minutes. Support.
We have a motion by Commissioner Davis with support to approve the minutes as presented. Is there any corrections, additions, or deletions to the minutes? First, to the audience here in the building or online or amongst commissioners. Any corrections, additions, or deletions to the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the June 2nd board meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. The motion carries. Next is the approval of the payroll and vendor accounts. Payroll of $243,913.18. and vendor accounts of $1,673,685.26. A motion would be in order.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Is there, we have a motion by Commissioner Thompson with support to approve the payroll and vendor accounts. Is there any discussion on the payroll and vendor accounts amongst the audience here in the building or online? Hearing none. Commissioners, any questions on the payroll or vendor accounts? Vice Chair Stayhauer.
I wonder if we could get just a high level overview of what we're paying for the sake of our audience. We're spending, what is it, 1.6 million? So just high, is it driven by construction season? Managing director perhaps can help us.
I actually have 4 items I think I can help share what's driving those costs this time of year.
Please.
First of all, we had a pretty significant capital purchase from AIS Construction for our new asphalt distributor. So that came in and we paid for that here on this pay cycle, which was $358,147. Also, one of our contractors, Scadeller Construction, was one of our crack fill contractors, completed phase 1 of their work. So that bill was $348,250. Next, we've received quite a bit of aggregate for our chip seal operations, and that's Hoover Plank Trucking. That was in the amount of $177,146. And then the fourth large vendor payment this cycle is with Vanderveen Excavating at $125,287. Vanderveen helps us with a lot of our road maintenance services, whether it's service requests or project prep work. They're kind of a do-it-all contractor that we use regularly throughout the summer season.
Any further questions, Vice Chair?
I think that covers it pretty well. Thank you.
Very good.
Appreciate that.
Any other discussion for payroll and vendor accounts amongst commissioners? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the payroll and vendor accounts, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Motion carries. Next is public comment on non-agenda items. If you are here to speak to the road commission on a non-agenda item, you have 3 minutes. Give your name and address. We have a lot of people, so please mind the 3-minute timer. This is not a time for discussion back and forth with the board. It's only a time for comment to the board. So you're first up. Go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Dr. Miranda Vinden. My address is 10963 WM Avenue, Kalamazoo, Michigan, 49009. And I'm going to begin with a story. And it's going to sound a little dark because it was a dark and not stormy night. But I was driving up north on Van Cal Avenue and with my husband, and it's just very gentle rolling hills, right? And it's so gentle. We were driving the speed limit. We drove up one and we heard this boom and then slam. We slammed into a dead pine tree that basically disintegrated upon impact. And there was some damage to my truck and we were scared. And our insurance covered it. So it was a dead pine tree. So now, very close, Almena Drive, there are all these red, X's and yellow X's on trees. Even having been in an accident that was very scary, that could have went horribly wrong, I'm still against cutting down trees, just ad hoc, just clear cutting trees within 33 feet of the center line. And it's because, life happens, I would rather have the roads be maintained by removing dead, dying, or sick trees than clear cutting for so many reasons. In part, we need shade in our community spaces where people might be walking. You have to think about not what's happening to people within this lifetime that we have. What are the next generation and the next generations of citizens in Kalamazoo County going to be experiencing? Some of them may end up walking along those roads, and they might very much appreciate having some shade from live trees. There's kind of a joke to this too, I was thinking. So the joke is, how old does an oak tree live? And the answer is, it depends. If it's in Kalamazoo, it's going to live about half of what a normal oak tree would live. Some of those trees have a lifespan of 500 years. And if we cut them down now, it's going to take generations for any trees that we plant even further kind of away from the roads to actually come back. So think about this from a legacy perspective. Do not cut down these trees that are so critical for habitat, for our joy, for our rural character, for beauty. They are just so critical. And I say that as someone who experienced an accident that was very real and very scary and could have been bad. So please I'm so grateful for the road commission and maintaining trees for public safety, but I don't believe that these trees, cutting down actual live, healthy, vibrant trees, is going to contribute at all to public safety. Did I make my time?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, thank you for hosting us. My name is Marilyn Branch. I live at 9085 North Riverview Drive, Kalamazoo, Michigan, 49004. I have lived there for 40 years. I love my shady drive home. I love the shade that the trees provide. I realized that there was no public hearing regarding the writing of this grant. If there was, we weren't notified about it. We had no input as to whether or not this grant was needed and why it was needed. Secondly, as I've been told by the lovely people that I talked to on the phone, there was no environmental impact study. Mature, healthy trees produce 2,700 times the oxygen of small trees. They remove 48 grams of carbon dioxide. The trees in my yard are 50 to 100 years old. One of them's in a ditch. Had a driver almost go in that ditch the other day because he passed somebody on the left. Not the tree's fault. The impact of shade on our homes has not been considered. 30 to 50% of our energy consumption is saved by shade trees. When I drive down our road, I look at all the shade trees that are going to be gone, and I think about the environmental impact of all of that energy that is now going to be used for air conditioning. The other thing that I'm concerned about, I have grown in shade. I have planted habitat for birds, bees, butterflies. I have planted wild plants. I have dogtooth violets now growing that I didn't plant because of the shade. I spent 40 years and hundreds of dollars planting habitat in the shade. I don't have a lawn. I have a habitat in my front yard. When you cut down those trees, you leave me the stump. I've had 2 cut down in 40 years. When those, you didn't, what do they call it? Take care of the root. I have trimmed every sucker except one, and now there's a tree. I also fell into a decaying root up to my knee while I was working in my front yard habitat. I don't have a lawn. Secondly, I am concerned that there is a safety issue regarding the residents. Now, when I work in my front yard, a distracted driver, like the guy who was passed on the left just this week, is going to hit me when I'm working in my front yard. He's not going to hit the tree that's protecting me. He's going to hit me. Our house is 50 feet from the road. They're going to land in our yard. They're going to land in our living room. Because in the old days, houses were built close to the road.
Okay, your time has expired. I'm sorry.
Can I have one more thing?
No.
Okay.
There will be a second opportunity later in the meeting for public comment on non-agenda items.
Thank you.
Just to clarify, when you hear that music, that is the end of your 3 minutes.
That was a Zoom.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, my name is Joan Eulig. I live 15423 South Barton Lake Drive, Vicksburg. I have a petition here from several other people that couldn't be at this meeting to urge you to modify the scope and of this grant implementation to include more, rather than clear cut, kind of consider focus on disease trees, clear the intersections, because of all the reasons of safety of distracted drivers jumping the road, wintertime. They provide a weather barrier, a noise barrier. Summertime, I'm a walker. I look for those patches of shade in front of my walk. We're getting hotter and longer summers. So who do I give this to?
Give it to the managing director. Thank you. Next.
My name is Michelle Smith, and I live at 9650 North Riverview Drive. I have lived there, or I should say my family has lived there since 1970. I grew up there. And when my father passed away, he left the home to me. And so now I take care of this home. I came home and I saw an X on my tree, one of my beautiful walnut trees. I was a single mother. I raised two of my children in this home. I have had many of the timber companies come to my home many of times and ask for the walnut trees that I have in my yard. And each time I told them no. That money could have gone when there were times when I went without food, but my children did not. And a couple $1,000s for each of those walnut trees could have done a little bit for us. But my walnut trees are over 100 years old. My farmhouse is over 100 years old. My walnut tree is 29 feet in the right of way. My mother is still alive. I asked her if anyone's ever hit my tree. She said no one's ever hit the tree in question. Where I live, it's a straightaway from corner to corner. And as this lady said, they do use that like NASCAR to go around you, whether they have the right to pass. I have been fortunate that my tree has not been hit. Should my tree be cut down, those people that drive aggressively now, instead of hitting my tree, will go right into my living room. As the other ladies have expressed, the shade, my energy costs will go up. My children are no longer at home, but it is still just me in this home and just my income. And I do not want my energy bills to increase. I also plant flowers, perennials in my yard to get the butterflies, the bees, and that's what we do when we go out to the country. I don't think we should be cutting down trees that are healthy. My tree has never been hit, and if you check your records, there's never been a limb that's even fallen into the road. That's how healthy my walnut tree is. And I guess that's all I really have to say. I just don't want my walnut tree cut down. It means that much to me. I just think that we're cutting down trees that shouldn't be cut down. There are trees that obviously along Riverview Drive and other counties are dying, infested. Those are the ones that should be cut down, not the ones that present no problems, haven't presented any problems. We have these auto manufacturer companies that spend billions or whatever they spend to make these safe, and they're still.
Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Deborah Harsha. I live at 520 South Kalamazoo Street in Vicksburg. I previously lived at 11817 Portage Road for 20 plus years. It is a family homestead. It's been in the family for more than 100 years. It is a farm, a working farm. And I remember years ago, not terribly many, when KCRC cut trees there, all along the property there on Portage Road and on TU Avenue. At the time, it felt like a hopeless situation, like there we go again, KCRC loves to cut trees. You have a reputation as cutting trees pretty wholesale. And when I saw the opportunity to come and speak up for what's happening right now, I couldn't help myself but want to be here. It's been devastating over the years to see the butchery of the trees, the murdering of the trees, or what do you want to call it? And I understand safety first. The letter that was written to you by Mr. Sadowski nails it. And I don't know if all of you have taken personal time to read it from top to bottom, every word, and taken it to heart, because it says to you what so many of us are feeling right now is this absolute listen to us plea to make yourselves better, to make it a better community. Leave the ones that need to be here. Change the grant, which certainly seems doable. We're a passionate group. I just really hope that you listen to the people. Thank you.
I'll be quick. Hi, I'm Sandra Adkins. I live at 6274 South 32nd Street in Kalamazoo. First, for the sake of transparency, can the portions of the grant that refer to the tree removal be made public so we can all understand the scope of the project, how flexible the wording is, and what it takes to make changes if needed? I don't understand how the Road Commission can ignore the importance of trees. We all know that cities across the country are encouraging the planting of trees for a healthy environment and to counteract climate change. Trees cool our streets, lower heat island effects, absorb CO2, improve air quality, and retain stormwater. The benefit list of trees goes on. And in the face of climate change, tree-lined streets are a critical infrastructure, and the risk-benefit of removing trees isn't there. And how does the Road Commission, on one hand, promote the Natural Beauty Roads program on their website, and on the other hand, propose clear-cutting 8,000 trees? This is directly from the website for the Road Commission. Goals. The Natural Beauty Roads program aims to preserve in a natural, essentially undisturbed condition, certain county local roads having outstanding or unusual natural beauty by native vegetation and other natural features within or associated with the right-of-way. I think that means trees. If this was about the safety of the public, why are we allowing a few farmers to grow their corn crops all the way to the edges of the pavement? Motorists have to pull out so far into the intersections to be able to see oncoming traffic that it exposes them to being struck by ongoing traffic. How about promoting healthy trees? Instead of clear-cutting trees, practicing maintenance of the existing trees. All across the county, there are trees that are leaning at a 45-degree angle to fall in the roadway. Examples of this can be seen on Old Avenue east of 29th Street. I truly hope that you, the Road Commission, can hear loud and clear what the public is saying to you and act accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
I'm sorry?
Go ahead. You have 3 minutes.
Oh. My name is Bob Saxtetter. I live at 15423 South Barton Lake Drive, Vicksburg, Michigan, 49097. I'm just a little nervous here. Hey, I was reading under the Pledge of Allegiance, your Pledge of Allegiance to your post, and using your expertise, energy, and funds, and they're really all of ours, right? They're your expertise, and they are definitely your energy, but they're all our funds. We all contribute with tax dollars. But I like the safest, most convenient road system. That part comes first, and I understand as a county road commission, roads would be your business. On the other hand, you also say contribute to economic development and high quality of life. And I think you're hearing about the high quality of life here a little bit. People love their trees. And your goal is to maintain a county road system that's safe and convenient and manage roadside environment. You've heard a little bit about the value of having trees with a view toward preservation. And I know you're going to plant some other trees in there, but looking out at this crowd, I don't think we're going to see them get as big. Next generation might, and that's a value. My wife and I just planted a sycamore and we got an oak growing in our front yard. And we know we aren't going to see them come to full fruition, full maturation. So we like to leave a legacy. But it's a problem. So anyway, kind of going along with another story. Last night I was driving home from Prairie View Park. There's a nice expanse of farm field, no trees either side, beautiful. And the dog's in the back seat. I'd taken him to the park and I'm driving along. And suddenly there is a wild turkey in front of my bumper. Slam on the brakes. Darn near killed the dog because he, of course, levitated from the back seat up against the seat. And then he's looking at me like, that was full betrayal, buddy. But I still want the turkey there. I don't want you to eliminate all the turkeys because they can be a hazard. I don't want you to eliminate the sandhill cranes. I don't even want you to eliminate the deer. That's all part of where we live. And the idea that sometimes life happens, I think that somebody else mentioned, is really, I think a lot of us are willing to risk that. And of course, with the tornadoes and the high winds that have blown through here, a lot of us have seen damage to our property because of those trees. But that doesn't mean we don't want them. So thank you for considering our concerns and for being selective on the kinds of removal that you feel you have to do, not simply wiping them all out.
Thank you. Thank you. For those online, we'll get to you after the people in the room have spoke. So just be patient. Go ahead. You're next.
Hi, my name is Tiffany Sadowski. I live at 1963 East Y Avenue. I am in favor of the SS4A grant. I think it's going to be fantastic for our communities. However, I would like to see the grant amended to not include the removal of 8,000 roadside trees. I believe firmly that there are trees that do need to be removed. And with the extra money that you had planned to have these trees removed, might I suggest a qualified arborist to come through and look at the trees that are dead and dying and remove those. I also feel that, especially where I live in Vicksburg, and many other people that are in this room, we drive these roads in the winter. And I don't think you've taken into consideration that I specifically go out of my way to drive on roads that have trees in the winter, because the blowing and drifting that occurs on the roads that lack trees is extremely hazardous to 100% of the drivers that drive on these roads. And specifically from U Avenue to UV Avenue, that stretch on Portage Road where all those trees have been eliminated, that is one of the most treacherous streets areas of roads in our county. It is very dangerous. Trees provide a natural barrier. Trees provide snow coverage. Trees hold back blowing and drifting of dirt and snow. Trees make things safer. And so I'm asking you, please, to amend the grant. I'm an educator. I write grants. And I know about grants in that they can always be amended. There's a lot of back and forth when you write a grant, even as a teacher. And that grant, once you get it, you make amendments. There's some talk back and forth. You make amendments again. I'm asking you to please make amendments to your SS4A program, which is going to be great. So glad you got this grant approved. But to eliminate the cutting of so many trees. They do so much for our communities, for safety, and for environment, and for all these different bird species that can only nest in trees that are 50 years and older. Many things to consider. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Cheryl Ulsh. I live at 12044 Oakland Drive. I'm right on the corner of Oakland and U Avenue, and my house is almost 200 years old, but there's also an almost 200-year-old oak tree that, thank God, does not have an X on it. South of me on Oakland Drive, there's lots of trees with overhang, and I know people who specifically avoid that stretch of road on windy days because those branches are scary. I would encourage you to look at maybe, as many people have mentioned, putting this effort towards taking down the trees that present a hazard. When I travel to and from work on a daily basis, and 16-mile round trip, I'm on U Avenue and 8th Street, and the number of X's on trees on that stretch of road is just gut-wrenching to me. how it will change the landscape and the beauty of the roads I travel. Not to mention, as was just mentioned, the safety when the wind starts blowing in the winter across those roads. It will be glare ice. I wonder where we can find traffic statistics that show the number or the percentage of vehicle tree collisions on the roads that are being impacted. Is that posted on your grant? Can we find that information? Has that study been done? I would really love to know that. And where can we find a study of the impact of the tree removal on those roads, such as the ice and erosion and those types of things? I know you won't answer my question now, but I would love to see that on your website so that we can find justification for these decisions. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Cindy Johnson. I live at 12568 South 18th Street, Vicksburg, 49097. I'd like to present these pictures to the board. U Avenue, we all know, was recently reconstructed. Beautiful job. Trees were removed. However, tree trunks are laying horizontally down on U Avenue. And I would argue that these are even greater hazard than the standing tree. As you see, these are huge trunks that are just left there. If a car leaves the road, they're still going to hit this and be just as dangerous. And this happens throughout, these trunks are littered throughout South County. W Avenue, S Avenue, I've seen it. I travel these roads. U Avenue in particular, this stretch I'm talking about, because I travel it so much, is U Avenue from 23rd Street to 131. So they're laying along the roadside. They're scattered there. They're a hazard. And I don't think it's made it any safer. The other thing I would like you to consider on your map, looks like the yellow lines are accidents that happen 1 to 2 fatal serious accidents a year. And orange is 2 to 3 accidents a year. And that same stretch, 23rd to Portage Road, there's a big U-shaped curve there that I think you have to go 20 miles an hour. I know there's accidents there. Portage is a primary roadway, as is U Avenue. Big accident site, Portage and U Avenue. So I didn't know if some of these statistics are coming from the intersection, and more importantly, where I live within a mile, the S-curves we all know about between Portage Road and Oakland. There's 2 sets of S-curves. I know because every time the sirens go off, my first thought is, uh-oh, Portage Road accident or S-curve accident. And I travel through there. I see the signs down on the S-curve where cars have plowed through that S-curve. Those are dangerous. However, is it possible that I know like at Southwest Nidge and Osterhout, there is a blinking stop sign. Is it possible to put a blinking yellow caution where the S-curve sign, warning sign is? Can that be lit up to make it more obvious that curve is coming up? But I know my neighbors, many, we live there. We know, oh, someone missed the curve. We see it. And I've lived there my whole life. I can't recall anyone deviating from the straightaway and hitting a tree that's standing on its own like that. Okay, it's the S-curves. And I don't know, I just went to the Sheriff's Department this morning to try and get a little bit more data on this. Where are those 1 to 2 accidents, 2 to 3 accidents you're happening? Are they? Come safer on the S-curves. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Jody Witt. I live at 10518 Riverview Drive in Cooper Township. I'm here today, like everyone else, to voice my profound concern about the proposed plan to remove 8,000 trees from the canopy of Kalamazoo's roadsides. Trees are not mere roadside obstacles. They're vital pieces of public infrastructure. They prevent soil erosion, manage stormwater runoff, and provide a natural cooling effect that lowers energy costs for nearby residents. Furthermore, this massive clear cutting contradicts any goals this commission has towards environmental sustainability and climate resilience. At a time when we should be investing in green infrastructure and preserving our natural beauty, we are instead spending millions of taxpayer dollars to strip it away. While roadside safety and clear zones are important, a blanket removal of 8,000 trees is an extreme approach to this solution. We need targeted maintenance, not mass deforestation. I urge this commission to immediately pause this project, reevaluate the environmental impact, and consider more sustainable, cost-effective alternatives that provide both our drivers and our invaluable natural canopy. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, gentlemen. My name is Francis Balancio. I live on Texas Corners, 7416 South 4th Street. I want to thank you. I arrived here safely without a single lane departure today, nor did I have any encounters with a pothole or any snowplows. So the Road Commission of Kalamazoo County was awarded $25 million through the Safe Streets for All grant by the United States Department of Transportation, the main focus of which will be adding rumble strips to center lines and improving the right of way by hazard, aka trees, removal. Now, let's think about this. $25 million is a lot of money to spend between now and 2029, $8 million of which is for tree removal. Now, why not divert some of those millions and millions from right-of-way tree removal into such things as rumble strips on the entire 130 miles, not only 74 of the miles, for shoulder rumble strips? Now, by your statistics, already successful Road Commission Kalamazoo County rumble strips projects have resulted in a 72% reduction in fatal and serious injury crashes. More rumble, fewer accidents. Now, why not divert some of those millions and millions into additional driver education and signage to raise and heighten driver awareness of the dangers of inattention and distracted driving habits? Now, why not divert more of those millions and millions into driver education regarding the consequences of driving while impaired by any number of popular prescription and over-the-counter drugs resulting in lane departures? Why not divert some of those millions and millions to remind drivers that according to the congressional report on alcohol use in America, one drink doubles the probability that the driver will be involved in a single car crash while under its influence, though well below any legal blood alcohol count levels. In light of the fact that 31.4% of lane departure crashes are single vehicle crashes by your statistics, this is significant beyond measure. Think about it. These are just a few ideas. Well, guys, I gotta go. Sorry. But let's all work together and build better answers for a better tomorrow.
Thank you.
Wow, how do you follow that, huh? My name is Kim Sandlin, and I live at 155 West U Avenue, Vicksburg, in Schoolcraft Township. It's about 1 mile west of Portage Road. We've lived there for 38 years, and we love our township. We love our roads. And in 2008, our township, when there were some very dense population housing neighborhoods coming together near Vicksburg, our township board got together with all the residents in the township to come up with a master plan for how we would like the township to look going forward. In 2008, they sent out surveys to every single resident, informed them that they were coming up with a new master plan. There was great communication of all of that. They held public meetings, and so many people came to the public meetings from the township that we had to come in quadrants to be able to fit into the building. And they enacted a master plan that would keep the area rural, that would focus on our rivers, our streams, our parks, our lakes, our small neighborhoods, our farming. Part of my property is farmed, and it's been a beautiful thing. And so last week, I went to the Schoolcraft Township board meeting, and several others that are in the room today also did. And we discussed the issue with this grant and how we would like to see some amendments take place to make it to be more worthwhile for everyone in the community. Obviously for safer roads, but also so that it really lifts up all of us that live in a rural area, that love our trees and just love the beauty of our surroundings. And so when we brought this before the township board, the township supervisor, Donald Walsh, mentioned that he gets together with all of the township supervisors. There's 15 of them. They get together on a regular basis. And he said at a recent meeting that topic came up in a discussion for this SS4 grant. And he mentioned that 14 out of 15 of those township supervisors, as they're representing their entire township as a board, they were all opposed to the grant as it has been written. And so there's general consensus amongst many residents in many townships in our county that we would love to be able to work together to come up with a solution that will keep our roads safe and safer, but will also value the life of all the people that drive on the roads and that also live in the neighborhoods and enjoy the roads. And that would be so much better for everyone. And one thing I would like to say is I appreciate that you have taken the time out of your lives to be able to serve in this capacity. So not opposed to you at all, very much appreciative of you, but we hope that you'll listen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you for your time. I'm Julie Richardson, 44667 27th Street, Mattawan. I'm here today to strongly urge a halt to the Road Commission's plan to remove 8,000 trees. We all want safer roads. However, cutting down 8,000, come on. Trees, some of them decades or even centuries old, is the wrong approach. Trees are not the root cause of our traffic tragedies. Excessive speed, distracted driving, and impairment are. Stripping our roadsides won't fix dangerous driving habits, but it will permanently alter our townships. I have been driving what I call Snake Hill for nearly 60 years, and that's on Almena Drive. In all those years, I have never seen an accident. But I nearly caused one when the excessive number of red X's appeared on the majestic towering trees. In spring, that stretch blooms in dogwoods. It is an exquisite gift to us all. And now we are choosing to kill it. Trees are the lungs of the earth. They transform our carbon dioxide into oxygen that sustains our lives. Take a breath. Thank a tree. Bulldozing the very things that naturally clean our air without clear, tangible benefits is unconscionable. To quote my favorite author, Robin Wall Kimmerer, sometimes I wish I could photosynthesize so that just by being, just by shimmering at the forest's edge, I could do the work of the world while standing silent in the sun. End quote. What happened first? Did you send a crew out to determine the number of hazardous trees in the area? Or did you receive grant money with a specific quota and then try to figure out what you're supposed to do with your millions of dollars? I suspect the latter because I don't believe there are 8,000 hazardous trees in this area. That would indicate a level of negligence on the part of the Road Commission that I don't believe exists. While I agree the Road Commission must remove hazardous trees, and I'm grateful, truly grateful for you doing this, this project isn't about hazardous trees. It's about healthy ones being removed to meet the quota of a grant. My friend, that is wrong for the trees, for us, and for future generations, especially.
You can walk faster than I can.
Go ahead. Welcome.
I'm Jerry Schring, Vicksburg, Michigan, South 21st Street. I travel a lot of these roads at least a dozen times a day, like XY Avenue back and forth to work. My place of employment is near 131. Go to town, of course, got to go Portage Road. At least try to nowadays but I see all these trees. Portage Road is covered with dead trees between W Avenue and the end of Portage Road. There are a lot of decent trees there, but there's a lot of trees that have met their life or close to it. Also XY Avenue. But as we go back, we got these roads from the Indians, and we've improved them every so often as traffic needs increase, as population increases. There's a lots of things, drivers, addictions, drivers not paying attention. That's things that the road commission can do nothing about. I understand that. But they also has a job to make it as safe as they possibly can. I don't necessarily like all these trees being removed. I don't, but I've removed trees in front of my own house because of the dangers to the house and to my life from storms or whatever that were approaching 100 years old. This is a very hard position for the county to be in. I realize that. But also, I do know, I got to say this, it don't cost millions of dollars to put rumble strips in. I can tell you that right now. So not going to save much money by saving rumble strips. It is this grant, we understand it cannot be changed. So if you lose it, you're losing $25 million. And that's just the way that I see it is at the moment. I would definitely like to see a lot of these trees saved, but according to the grant, they can't be. Years ago, I can remember when Herb Larkin was at his road commission, there was a big to-do about trees in Portage Road in the Stryker area right there now. But the Erzu in that area, Middle Road to Center Street, basically. Most of those trees today are gone because of expansion of the roads and of utilities. It happens. W Avenue, years ago in the late 60s, I'm an old sucker, so there was a big lawsuit.
Thank you. And there will be a second opportunity later in the meeting.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you. I am Sheila Polkowski, and I am from Dexter, Michigan. I am the Lorax, and I am here to speak for the trees. I want you to know that the Washtenaw County Road Commission got the same federal safety grant years ago and started cutting hundreds of roadside trees. The residents got outraged. We started a petition. We started going to road commission meetings, and they kept cutting. Now they have a horrible reputation with the community for not listening. So then we started going to county commissioner meetings because you know what? They appoint your positions, and we have the authority to dissolve your entire department and absorb you as a public works department under the county commissioners. This has happened to other counties that abuse their power when they don't listen to residents, like Jackson, Wayne, and Macomb counties. So with this public pressure, Washtenaw County Road Commission made the right choice and gave back a huge chunk of the safety grant. And yes, you can give a portion of the safety grant back. So let me tell you, trees, they're not dangerous. Cars are dangerous. Distracted drivers are dangerous. We have plenty of streetlights and telephone poles lining our roads. Should we cut those down too in the name of safety? And what about all the mailboxes? Those look dangerous too. And by the way, these trees have been here long before automobiles have even been around. They deserve to live. Every single resident on these roads that I have talked to does not want their trees cut down in front of their yards, period. And don't forget, you guys work for us, and we want our trees. So please listen to us today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Chad Suki. I live at 104 East XY Avenue in Vicksburg. I just wanted to talk about my specific section, which is basically 18th Street. I'm sorry, XY from 18th Street to Portage Road, where there is a gorgeous tree canopy. And I think it's an excellent, what I would call experiment, because you can look at that area and by your own data that's shown in your presentation, there have been no accidents over the, I think it was 17 years you guys posted. Compare that to the rest of XY that runs from 18th Street to essentially 131, which has been completely clear cut, except for a couple of trees. The accident levels are much higher. It is much more dangerous in the winter, large snow drifts, and yes, most of these things happen in the winter. Further, as I understand from talking with Jim Hookstra, the trees that would be cut down along our area because there's no, how would I say, because our houses are significantly set back, the stumps would still remain. So essentially, you're not really fixing that much of it. You're not going to grind them down. This is according to Jim. So it's really an answer in search of a problem. That's about it. I do thank you guys. I think going after the grant is a good thing. I realize I'd also just like to say to the people, hey, this is free money we're getting for the grant. If it means cutting down my trees, I'd rather you just not take the money. And to the other argument, which is, yes, the farmers would like more room to get their ag equipment down the roads. Two things, no one's ever said they can't get ag equipment down XY, and also it's called rural residential, so it's a compromise. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Georgia Evans. I live at 830 East U Avenue, Vicksburg, Michigan. I stand here before you with all my citizens and fellow residents. We have a strong voice here today, and I'm really proud of that. Thank you all for being here. But I'd like the board to hear a little story. My husband and I were out sitting on our deck the other night. We had that big rainstorm, and it was a huge wind coming across. We have a 21-acre field across behind our field is trees along the tree line here, then it's open field. And while we were sitting there, we were watching how those trees were protecting the ground. There was hardly any dirt blowing. And after the trees, it was plain field with no trees, and there was dirt. It looked like a tornado back in there. And we were just looking at each other, and I said, that's why we need our trees, because in the wintertime, this is what we're going to have to deal with on our roads without our trees. And I'm the person who brought that poster there with all the trees on U Avenue. So maybe you can take a moment just to see some of those majestic, beautiful trees. I know safe roads are important for all of us. I believe in safe roads, but you can't fix stupid driving. You just can't do it. You cannot do it. People are going to do things that you just can't prevent. So there's all these new sidewalks going in Texas Corners. And we were driving to go to the hardware store, and there's a woman pushing a baby stroller on the road, and she has a sidewalk she could be on with her baby. You can't fix stupid. Again, I just want to ask you, could you please amend the SS for all and consider not cutting down and clear cutting those trees. Just take the ones that are dead, take the limbs that are bad. If there's a sight line that's not good, but please leave our trees. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Kristen Glarum. I live at 6137 Clover Meadows in Scotts. I'm coming to you today as someone that has lived in the area her entire life. Speaking from experience, when looking at something like a grant proposal, I work in education. Oftentimes the people that are asked are the ones that are in the trenches, so to speak, the people that live there, what they experience. Talking about accidents happening, just as they were talking about Sprinkle Road, Portage Road, same thing as a couple of the ladies have said previously. You hear the sirens going out, you know it's on an S curve. In the wintertime, going and traveling on Portage Road, exactly. Traveling on Portage Road and going towards Vicksburg, lots of clear cut, and it's terrible. Farmers have had to put up fencing and things of that nature. So to, again, spin off of asking the people that actually have the trees in their yard or travel the roads each day, these are some quotes from some of the people that couldn't be here today. Due to the large farm fields, I'm very worried about drifting in the winter without the trees, and I also don't appreciate not receiving communication at the complete loss of trees proposed on my property. We were never informed. I saw the X's on the trees and had to inquire what they were for. I live on a road where a massive number of trees will be removed, and none of them are on my property, but they're on routes that I travel regularly. I'm very concerned about the winter road conditions if all these trees are removed, and additionally, the beautiful landscape in the area will be decimated by the removal of the ancient, beautiful trees. Again, we're looking at possibly amending, and we all like money, especially those of us that are in education. Money is good, but we need to make sure that we're using it in the right way and that it's purposeful and it's not just because we've been given that extra money. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Welcome.
Hello, my name's Adam Tavernier. I live on 1600 Sarasota in Portage. I came here today because I thought I'd represent some younger people. You decided to have the meeting at 3:00 on a Tuesday where no one my age can be here. We're all working. And this brings up the transparency issue. The transparency is horrible. Everybody's bringing up their comments that have been great, but nobody's really clear about what's going on. You haven't been clear about it. No, there hasn't been any other meetings that I'm aware of. I'm online and I don't see anything posted until I see orange X's all up and down our beautiful roads. I drive up and down Portage Road and XY Avenue back and forth to work. Same thing these other people have said. You're destroying beautiful trees. Some of these brand new houses along Portage Road, their only shade in their yard is these giant, beautiful trees. I can't believe that any of you would sit here and not agree. Do any of you have trees that are being cut down in your yard? Is a big question I'm sure everybody wants to know. Right? But there's no transparency. We don't know what's going on. Nobody knows what exactly has to be done for the grant, what doesn't have to be done for the grant. And everybody wants to just know what is going on. So it'd be great to have some transparency if you're going to do a project this big that encompasses everybody in the entire county is affected by this. Everybody drives down these roads to and from work, to and from school. Have some transparency. Have a meeting when people that work in this community can be here and be represented. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon.
Good
My name is Dr. Carol Friesen, relatively new. I live at 482 East XY Avenue in Vicksburg. If my husband was here, he would be saying to you the beautiful maple trees across the street from our house gave more sap that made more syrup this spring than he's ever made in his life. But he's at work. My purpose today is to not reiterate what so many of my awesome neighbors have said. But I just wanted you to know that I have an education degree, PhD, taught at the university for 30 years. I've been at the state health department and the county health department, and I've written over $28 million in grants. And I just wanted to offer my services for free if it would help to write amendments to the grant to be able to achieve a common goal. I think everything that's in this memo that you all got is so awesome. We want safety, we want trees, we want beauty, but we need to be able to do it in a way that makes everybody happy. Your job, our job. So if I can help in any way, I just wanted to offer my services. If you can't do it for free, pay me 50 cents. I don't really care. I just want to do what I can because I think it's so neat to see so many people here. This is America. I mean, you have a job. You ran for this. You got elected. I've served on school commission for years. It's a thankless job, and we appreciate what you do. And the fact that we were able to be here to talk is America. That's what this is all about. So let's work together. And if somehow I can help in the amendments to the grant, please just contact me. I'm happy to do it. Yeah.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm gonna see if I can have a little fun up here. I see mostly eldership up here. 5-year-old twins stayed the night last night. Gigi read this book to them, The Great Me and the Little Me. 5-year-olds, right? The little one inside of all of us. I am a voice for the trees, the Standing Tree Nation. And in my moment of 3 minutes of silence, listen to the Standing Tree Nation. So great me, it's fun to teach the kids, right? The great me is strong, loving, kind, careful, sensitive. And the little me, you know who that is? No answers. Okay. I'll tell you who little me is. The one that is selfish, the one that is greedy, the one that is not very kind. So I get that you get your community here, and I thank you for listening to us. I encourage you for the transparency. I don't get it. I was a business owner for 38 years. I get the laws, okay? They suck, and we got to be pretty damn creative to work with them. So be that, do that, and please tap into the elders that sit here, and let's find the way. You got offers out here too.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. I'm Rodney French, 8505 Elmina Drive, 49009.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Yep.
Hi, I'm Brad Sadowski. I live at 1963 East Y Avenue. I think most people here know who I am. I think the board is aware. I'm sure you all got my letter yesterday from the residents and the 1,235 petitions that were signed. And we've only been at this 2 weeks, and we're continuing to gain support, as you can see, and it's only going to grow. I want to thank you guys. We don't think you're evil at all. We think you got a tough job. It's not easy to do. So we want to show appreciation for the work that you guys do and the volunteer that the board steps up and does. It is a thankless job. I've been on boards myself. It sometimes is not fun. And that's why we presented our campaign in such a way that we want to work with you, that we want to compromise with you. So I'm going to offer my services. If you need help making the amendment or doing the amendment, we don't want to see the SS4A project die. We think it's a worthwhile campaign, worthwhile project. We want to see it move forward. We just want to see the amendment so we're not clear cutting 8,000 trees. We only want to see the trees around the intersections to improve visibility, cut down the dead trees, dead limbs, etc. And I also want to thank, this is amazing. The fact that on a 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you've got so many people that showed up here. This is what democracy looks like. And you are a part of that democracy. This is what this is what it looks like when they stand up. And your job is to listen to them and the 1,235 petitions. And I will continue to send more petitions your way as they get signed up. I'm not going to stand up here and preach anymore. I think these folks have done a fantastic job. Like I said, they all have a copy of the letter that I submitted to you. They all received the same copy that you received. It's pretty clear and concise and exactly what we're asking for. So at any time, please reach out to me. I'm willing to talk and to sit down and negotiate this out and work to an agreement and to a compromise. But until so, we're going to keep driving and we're going to keep pushing. We're not going away. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Welcome.
Hello, my name is Cassie Maurer. I live at 8505 Almena Drive in Oshtemo Township. The only reason I can really be here is because I'm retired. A 3 o'clock meeting makes it very difficult for younger people to be here. So keep in mind that that is why your audience is mostly elderly. And they can offer you so much wisdom because of that. But I want to bring up that as a problem with transparency and making this more accessible to your entire county residents. Living on Almena Drive, I often take that winding road with the canopy of trees, just gorgeous. And I also almost was in an accident noticing all the X's that were on the trees as I passed by. And I barely knew about this just last week. And I changed my schedule so that I could be here and speak up, because it would just be a tragedy to sacrifice these gorgeous trees that are along this Almena Drive. And I'm sure many of the other places too. I can't say I disagree with anybody else in this room. Those trees are gorgeous. They are a treasure to Oshtemo Township. And I'm sure many of the other trees that are marked with X's are also a treasure. And then there's also the issues of the snow drifts that would happen and the danger that would be there if those trees were not there. Why not divert some of these funds into bringing driver training back into public schools other things to help with drivers being safer, lowering the speed limit. There's so many other solutions, but I urge you, this is not the solution at this point. Please keep working on this grant. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Rhonda Walters. I live at 12480 South 18th Street in Vicksburg. And I have some rhetorical questions for you. How many of you have trees on your street? And how would you feel about swapping them for a stump? If you were shopping for a home, would you be more likely to choose one with abundant greenery? When you leave your driveway, what is the likelihood of being involved in a collision? How likely is it that that collision would be with a tree? What becomes of the wood? Does it just get dumped somewhere or become pizza boxes or toilet paper? And one more thing, many of my neighbors have lived in the neighborhood for 2 or 3 generations, and we're dug in there. We're not going anywhere till we leave in a box. So, thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Hello, thank you.
Hello.
My name is Nicole Romo, and I live at 9695 XY Avenue in Schoolcraft. And I am here today, as many other people are, and I had a whole thing to say that I wanted to say, but so many other people have already done so. So I'm just going to touch base on a couple of things that I didn't feel like were talked about enough. We've talked about the blowing snow and the repercussions of clear cutting all of these trees. I live out there. I know what it's like with the open fields. You're talking 2 to 3 foot snow drifts on a regular basis, where I see cars regularly stuck and stranded in the middle of the roads. These roads are not plowed like main roads. They're not. So you're talking about more open roads where this is going to become an issue. So does that mean you're going to plow them more frequently? That's going to increase cost. So not only is it going to make the roads unsafer, it's going to be more costly. Second, the trees provide valuable wildlife habitat. I know a couple of people touched on this, but I have regularly observed the pileated or pileated, however you want to say it, woodpeckers in some of the corridors that you are talking about taking down trees. These are federally protected birds. So you're using federal funds to destroy habitat of federally protected animals. I, as many others, would like to see what environmental assessments have been conducted to determine the impact of removing 8,000 trees on local wildlife populations and habitat. And if that hasn't been done, it certainly needs to be done.
If you can hold just a minute, please keep your applause until the end of the speaker. We need to get this meeting going. They need the time to make their comments. So please hold off on your applause.
I also would like to say numerous traffic studies have found that tree-lined streets encourage drivers to slow down and remain more attentive. Trees create visual cues that naturally moderate speed. By removing these trees, you are actually encouraging higher vehicle speeds, which could increase risks for residents, pedestrians, cyclists, and other motorists. Like someone said, you cannot fix stupid. Impaired driving, distracted driving, and driving too fast for road conditions are the roots of our road problems with traffic accidents. Has nothing to do with the trees. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm Wade Adams, have property at 15124 East MN Avenue in Climax, that's Charleston Township. I'd like to provide a little historic perspective here today. 40 years ago, I was a member of an organization called Save Our Roadside Environment, SORE, SOAR. And we were sore at that time. In fact, I was so sore that for more than a year, I attended every road commission meeting, every meeting. I never saw a crowd like this at the road commission back then, but there was a lot of community interest in our roadside environment then, and we were persistent in changing that policy, which in many cases of repaving, clear cutting the right of way. We eventually succeeded. The road commission changed policy, and things were quiet until very recently with this grant, which has obviously caused a lot of public interest. If you see this many people here, you have to know there's a whole lot more, maybe 10 times more or more people that aren't able to attend these meetings. So I ask you to reconsider your policies, modify them to keep everyone happy, because we cannot get these ancient trees back. And they are truly, some trees, 300, 400, 500 years old. Our property has some trees that don't happen to be on the roadside, but they are ancient. And we like to keep our historic trees. Thank you.
Thank you. Next. Hi, I'm Kevin Kolk from 7153 North Sprinkle Road. And my house is kind of unique in that it sits about 10 feet below the road grade. And along that road grade, there's a slope. And what's holding that slope up right now is several 100-year-old oak trees, all of which you've inventoried. So there are at least numbers on them. There are not X's on them yet, but my part of the road is listed as part of the phase that's supposed to be done this fall. And I know you're not done supposedly marking, so I don't know for sure if mine will be affected. But what I want you to know is that if you remove those trees over the next 10 years, that slope is going to lose 90% of its stability. And all the runoff from the hill across the street that flows across Sprinkle Road is then going to erode that slope and flood my house. In addition, 500 feet down the road is Springbrook, actually less than 500 feet down the road. And Springbrook is a cold water, state designated trout stream. Any changes that infect the drainage around that stream require that you do special permitting. And what I want to know is, or what I want you to do is, before you mark any of those trees for removal, that you make sure that all the permitting has been done and all the studies necessary have been done. Because if you mark them, then even if you back out of it later, there's a chance somebody's going to come along, see the X, and cut down the tree as part of the project. So for me, it's a special concern because I feel like removing these trees isn't just an aesthetic thing. It's going to put my house at risk. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
And staff. My name is Craig A. Rolfe. I live in Brady Charter Township, have for many years. By trade, I happen to be a municipal attorney, so I have to say something about the scheduling of this meeting. When a public entity schedules a meeting for 3 p.m.,
on a workday, a weekday. It reflects utter disdain and contempt for your public. You can change that. I doubt that that was intended, that outcome. If it's not, change it. You are so fortunate to have these people take time out of their lives, and for many, their work days, including myself, to come here and participate in this meeting, because that's when you scheduled it. I would suggest if you schedule another one on this topic of the SS4A grant, you probably better book an auditorium. So to the grant itself, where to start? I think you've heard from most folks that there's not any obvious major pushback that I've heard or seen online to most, if not every component of the grant as received, except the massive clear cutting of the tree component of the grant. So let's focus on that because it narrows things. It is a matter of you made a choice. You made a choice to apply for that grant with that component. We also have learned that you can make a different choice. And contrary to the initial information from this public entity that the grant as received was not subject to change, we know that that's not correct. That's false. It can be changed. It takes your support for an amendment. Why would you pursue such an amendment? Several reasons, all of which fall into the category of reflecting a better prioritization of limited number of dollars. I drive the roads in this county, going to various township meetings and for other purposes, and I see consistently shoulders that are poorly maintained. That creates a ridge. A car hits that just the right way, going off it. You might leave the roadway, you might come back and overcorrect and come across the roadway. Either way, it's entirely an avoidable scenario with better maintenance of shoulders. This county road commission does a magnificent job of some things. You especially do a magnificent job at completely ignoring the hundreds of diseased and aged out trees in very close proximity to the roadway surface. Your staff and you drive these roads every day. Nothing to see there. Hundreds of trees present an immediate, active, actual danger to public safety if or when the tree falls in the road. And I encourage you to do that, to be faithful to what I take to be your mission statement, to manage the roadside environment with a view toward preservation. Thank you.
Next.
Hi, I'm Brian Kay. I live at 6570 North Riverview Drive. First off, thank you guys for your duties. You know, I haven't gotten my car stuck or gone off the road in a decade or so, or slipped on ice, so great job. Speaking of Springbrook, that flows right by my house. Springbrook Riverview, the bridge, there's a guardrail there with the trees on it, on our side between our house and the road, and some of those are marked. That guardrail's been smashed for like 4 months. Somebody crashed into that and nobody's done anything about it. That guardrail saved people's lives. That tree holds up my septic system. My septic system is in the front yard. If that were to, you know, start to deteriorate or leach into the stream, then you have an environmental impact that is, oh, that would break my heart. If there's one thing I love, it's some trout. On top of that, you know, obviously we like this, the silence, the peace it gives us. But the guardrail doesn't even match the other side of the road's guardrail. If it was extended that length, these two trees shouldn't even have an X on it. It'd be protected. So I say, fix that guardrail, extend it 10 feet, cover the trees, save my septic. Oh, and did I mention, I've kayaked almost all the way around my house when it rains a lot. So you're dealing with going off the road, going down into a ditch, and then on the other side is a hill. If you roll right there, and I've rolled my lawnmower there, and there's water there, you're drowning. So that's a danger to anyone on the road. Seems like a no-brainer. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Is anyone, okay, next?
Kurt Wiley, 1335 Westview Avenue, Schoolcraft, Michigan. I have about a mile and a quarter of road frontage on my road. We farm. When they widened the road out, I had one tree come. Now they got 48 trees marked. What's the difference between widening them out and only cutting one tree, and now not widening it anymore and cutting 48? Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Michael Sillis. I live at 15648 Portage Road, Vicksburg. You guys are destroying my neighborhood. There is absolutely no reason that all those trees need to come down. They've been there. I've lived there for 40 years. I know of one tree that has been hit there. No accidents on a corner, major oak tree sitting there. You want to take it down. All the way down XY. Also, I went out to Mattawan the other day down Eliza. You want to wipe out all that beautiful canopy on Eliza Boulevard. That's crazy. That's ludicrous. These trees we will never see again. In our lifetime, you guys plant a tree or you have an oak grow in your backyard out of an acorn, it might grow this big in a year. How many years have those trees been standing? What have they seen that we haven't seen? It's ridiculous. Also, the safety factor, I don't see it. I don't see accidents. If it is, it's some kid driving in a ditch. Also, I know I'm not supposed to ask questions, but I need to know where all these surveys were that you sent out supposedly to every Kalamazoo County resident. Like 110,000 of them to survey what you're doing. Nobody here has gotten one. Supposedly you guys got 347 of them back. Where's the proof? Where's the proof that these were sent out? I'd like to know that. I think these folks would like to know that too. So my concern is, I think if you take them down, you're going to have more trouble, more speed. You're going to have, I slow down when I get to the trees. It's like, this is enjoyable. It's calming. Like everybody's talked about that stretch of Portage Road between U and W. Black ice all winter long, every winter. You put up a snow fence out there, that thing doesn't do any good. You could put up a 20-foot fence that's going to come over the top of that. It doesn't work. Trees work. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Welcome.
Hi, welcome to you all. Thank you for being here. I drove here without any potholes on nice roads, and I appreciate the work that you do. My name is Tama Cathers, and my address is 15227 Portage Road, Vicksburg, Michigan. I live on Portage at the end of Portage, and all of the major trees there are marked with X's. My neighbor has a tree that my daughter and I, it would take 4 people to span around. It's a giant tree, and it's an important tree for lots of reasons, as are all these trees. Coming from a biological background, I'm focused on that. Losing these 8,000 trees is going to reduce carbon sequestration. It's going to reduce cooling that we need. It's going to reduce stormwater drainage. It's going to reduce the wildlife, the air quality, the noise reduction, the community character, the property value, and the human health. When those 8,000 trees are gone, we will not be having those 8,000 trees sequester 384,000 pounds of carbon a year. So in 3 years, almost 1 million pounds of carbon will no longer be being processed and sequestered. The trees also store carbon long-term. In addition, by removing the canopy, the air temperatures on the roads, the surface temperatures will increase by 20 to 45 degrees. Sometimes that's been measured up to 70 degrees hotter than the shaded pavement. That's also not pleasant for the local people. It's not pleasant for the environment. For stormwater, large trees intercept a huge amount of rainfall before it reaches the ground, and therefore it decreases stress on drainage systems. Removing those trees can increase flash flooding, which we have a problem with. It causes erosion of ditches, sediment entering the streams and lakes, and road washouts after heavy rains. The large 150-year-old oak of my neighbor is supporting hundreds of insect species, songbirds, woodpeckers, bats, squirrels, owls, and migratory species, just to name a few. Young replacement trees are not going to replace this old tree. As far as the air quality, there are human health impacts from removing those trees because they filter out fine particulate matter, which I, with asthma and smoke sensitivity, am sensitive to. It's going to decrease ozone, nitrogen oxide, sulfur dioxide, and it also means more dust in our houses, more exhaust pollution that isn't filtered or done anything with, and reduced air filtration along the roads and the nearby homes. The trees also character and something else. Thanks.
That's okay. Thank you. Seeing no one else in the building, anyone online who would like to make it? Well, hold away, I guess. If there's anyone out, if you just, there's prerogative. If there's anyone else in the building who wishes to speak, if you could line up so that we have an idea how many speakers are left, that would be great. Thank you. Your 3 minutes are begin now. Welcome.
Don't be afraid. My name is Debbie Vernon. I live at 310 West Vienna in Schoolcraft, 49087, I think. And lots of my elders and some of the young tykes have made my points already, so that probably save you a minute there. But I wanted to point out that I really agree with guardrails, but I'm reading your stats. Okay, if you put rumbles, whatever they are, if you put those down the center of a rural road, your accidents will decrease 38 to 50%. Okay, do this math. And then if you put them along the side too, which I personally prefer, 26 to 46%. That's almost 100%. Why do we have to take these trees out? Okay, I would like to see the trees out of the ditches. I drive from my son over in Texas Corner out to, anyway, there are trees that are almost in the road and they're old and they're beautiful and they're on curves and they're going to kill somebody. So I'm good with all of those. But the rest of this, we need to try these other things first. We just can't take all these trees out. One thing about the elders, we planted trees. We came from a generation that planted trees, and I have planted well over 500 just myself on our farm. I also need to find out, as everybody else does, are they really leaving stumps? Because those are a worse accident thing than a tree. So I've mentioned that. Okay, wait, I'm almost done. The elder, admit, there's trees and ditches, almost there.
You got a minute and a half left, so
don't worry, still be done. I bet 10 seconds I'll be done. I would have been happier when I was reading about how you set up, you worked with the transportation department, and obviously you would, but I didn't see anything about any kind of environmental consultant or anybody that could have gone along all these roads and looked at all this and said, there is another side to this. Maybe we should consider this. Because I can't imagine they would have guaranteed that some of those trees needed to come out that I've seen little death X's on. And I'm done. And I should have at least 30 seconds left. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, welcome.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Jindalee Cather-Zepley. I live on 15227 Portage Road, Vicksburg, Michigan, 49097. And when I came home from school this summer, I was shocked and horrified and devastated to find red X's on almost every tree lining our roadway. I want to show, there are so many good points that have been made, and there's so much to talk about for these trees. And I want to show that it is not just the older folks, it is the younger generation and everyone who is concerned about losing all of these trees. These trees provide immense amounts of habitat, shade, and protection for both the roadway and the houses and properties beside the roadway. And more than that, our world is in a state where it is critical for us to consider the impacts of what we do on the world around us. And 8,000 trees in the grand scheme of the whole world might not seem like that much, but it's decisions like this being made every day that chip away constantly at the integrity of our planet, of our climate, and of the world that I am going to have to live in. The decisions that you make here are going to impact everyone living here and beyond. And this is I do not believe, something that should be stood for, that clearly we do not stand for. And this is not something we were consulted on. This is not something that we were aware was going to happen. This is something that is going to impact everyone for generations to come. Even if you replant one tree for every single tree that you cut down, which I doubt will happen, I will not grow. I will not live long enough to see those trees reach the amount of impact that the trees that are there now have. I learned this past semester that plants exhibit indeterminate and tileable growth structure. That means plants, like trees, could grow forever, indeterminately, without outside forces stopping them, killing them, cutting them down. I believe that this is a tragedy and a disservice to our community and everyone here, everyone living in these, and not just humans, all the species that depend on these trees, as we depend on them as well.
Seeing no one else in the building wishing to speak, is there anyone online who would like to speak? Please raise your hand. And I will call on. Oh, hang on just a minute. Online, we have one more person.
Sorry. Hi.
No, if there's anyone else in the building who wishes to speak, please approach the podium now. Thank you. Your 3 minutes begin now.
Hi, I'm Katie Meyer. I'm a part of Oshkosh Township, and actually I'm on the Environmental Concerns Committee for Kalamazoo as an associate member, so I'm really active with what I'm doing in environmental work here. I also studied environmental biology. So I want to just actually point out, one of the people that came up to speak did say this already, but I'd like to just highlight this again. The goal of the board of the county road commissioners of the county of Kalamazoo is using our expertise, energy, and funds to provide the safest and most convenient road system possible and to contribute to economic development and high quality of life throughout the county. Our goal is to maintain a county road system that is safe and convenient for public travel and to manage the roadside environment with a view toward preservation. This is your goal. As a committee, this is your goal. You guys really, really need to take heed. You need to think about the words and you need to listen to us. I lived off of Elmina growing up. I didn't know about any of this, nothing. It took my neighbor saying, "Hey, Katie, there's a bunch of X's on the trees. Do you know what that's about?" You know everybody around here. So no, we didn't know what that was about. We weren't asked anything. And I had to get a babysitter for my son today for 4 hours so I could come to this. Come on, guys. Transparency. This should be a meeting where people can come after 5 p.m. This 3 p.m. stuff, that almost seems like a slap in the face. I would like to point out as well that what Brad put together in an email for us concerned citizens, I know you got a grant and you have to use the money. I get that. But one of the reasons of taking down these gorgeous, gorgeous trees that have been there for 100, 200, 300 years is because of wayward drivers. Well, to me, growing up in Elmina, there was one big accident I remember. They hit the tree. They didn't hit my neighbor's house, who were elderly and lovely. The person survived, but they were drunk. You know what I mean? Like, that's not the tree's fault. And if the tree hadn't been there, they would have gone into my neighbor's house and possibly killed them. So that could have been 2 fatalities right there. So what I don't understand is, so this is something about the fatality piece, which I think is what you're using as a reason to do this. I reviewed the RCKC action plan and looked at the identified high-risk segments of the network. In the 11 segments specifically identified for clear zone creation, in which trees will be clear-cut as feasible, only 3 of those locations included fatal accidents that involved trees, and in 2 of them, the person was also intoxicated and the conditions were wet. 3 out of the 11 segments. That's not enough. This is not a good enough reason. I'm sorry, it's not. It's not. Just saying that 3 out of 11 and 2 of them were drunk. Come on, guys. So we're talking about 1 fatality and you're just going to cut 8,000 trees. No sense.
Okay, we will move on to online comments. I will ask staff to give me a name and just remember that the chat feature is for technical questions only, and none of that anything in the chat will not be read into the record.
So Ann is first.
Ann, you are first. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Ann Bannister, and I'm from Ann Arbor, Michigan, and I'm a former Ann Arbor City Council member, and also as part of our Environmental Commission. And I just want to agree and applaud everyone from your area that's come out today. I would note that in almost 2 hours of public comment, it was 100% in agreement that as humans, we need to do better. These are some of the notes I've taken, that the targeted maintenance on the dead trees and the dead limbs is good, that we need an arborist to assess that in detail, that adding rumple strips would be a lot better use of money, more fiscally responsible. Property values go down when these beautiful, gorgeous trees are removed. Quality of life declines. The trees are providing natural barriers to the ice, naturally cleaning the air. They provide natural storm water infrastructure, carbon sequestration, habitat for hundreds of wildlife and pollinators and federally protected birds. They're the lungs of the earth. I think Sheila from Dexter pointed out that the Washtenaw County Road Commission, when faced with this same decision, sent back a portion of their grant, because we are stewards of the land for future generations. And then we can't get these ancient trees back. If we tear them down this year and next year, they will never be back in anyone's lifetime. So, and then lastly, I appreciate the facts and figures that people had about the actual numbers of carbon sequestration, the 1 million pounds of carbon that's removed from the air for free by trees, the dramatic increase in heat when the trees are gone, the dramatic decrease in wildlife, and lots more dust and air pollution. The trees are working for us for free and multitasking, and I just want to applaud you all for mobilizing to try and save these 8,000 trees. Thank you.
Thank you. Next. Caitlin?
Is it Kaylin?
Yes, that's you. Go ahead.
Hi. I am at home with my 4 children, so I'm going to ask for a little bit of grace, but I've been listening to this meeting. I second everything that everybody has said. And I just would want to reiterate, of course, the aesthetics, the health of the oxygen that we breathe. We live in a more rural area. We live on 9078 South 8th Street. And so the trees that are lining our property are helping to filter. We love our local farmers, but there's also some air concerns that come with farming practices. So it's helping to filter the air. But even more than that, these trees are a barrier into an extremely flat yard that we have. When our children are playing in the front yard, if a car came off, they would immediately go into our yard if that tree wasn't protecting us. So I would urge you to reconsider, for whatever reason these decisions were made about accepting this money. I second what somebody else said, return it then, because we need our trees and we need the protection that they provide. Thank you so much.
Chief, and connecting and disconnecting. Sue, can you hear us?
Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Please use the raise hand feature.
So there's actually
Kathy Johnston?
Justin.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay.
Name and address, please, first.
2880 West C Avenue. I'm in Cooper Township. I just want to say that I also agree with everything that everybody said. They did some road work on 14th, which is really close to me, and I had called because I noticed that a lot of trees were numbered to come down, and they said, oh, well, we're going to do this and that, and we're going to do some ditching. Well, they did one little tiny thing on my neighbor's little drain pipe, and they had cut down a lot of really big old trees. And now that lumber is just lying there by the side of the road. And I think somebody else mentioned this as well. There are huge, what were healthy tree trunks lying there. And I'm thinking, boy, if somebody does go off the road, they're going to hit those. They're going to be in a lot more trouble than if they just hit the tree. I don't think there's been an accident on C Avenue where somebody's actually hit a tree. So I'm with the Save the Tree group. So thank you for everybody who could actually make the meeting and for speaking up. I guess I'm done now. So.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Mary Hike? Hang on, we're get you on.
There we go. Sorry.
There, go ahead.
Mary Hewitt, 738 North 33rd Street, Galesburg. Again, I want to reiterate and second everyone's comments. A lot of what I have written down has already been commented on. I did read the minutes from your last meeting, and some of the questions that some of the participants had are actually answered in there. However, it does bring forth some other questions about not just the statistics about the cars leaving the road that are influenced by accidents from trees being hit, but what percentage of those accidents are actually also involved impaired driving or distracted driving. I read recently some statistics on survey of marijuana users who were asked if they feel that their driving is impaired when they drive. When they're high. Said no. Majority of those responded that they felt that their driving was actually better when they're high. So that's interesting. So it's not just alcohol. It's not just distracted driving. We have to also consider, the passage of the laws that we've had not too long ago to legalize marijuana, and now everybody's driving high. I smell it all the time. Trees provide a natural way to calm traffic. A couple years ago, we took a vacation to see our son who lives in England currently. And this is not possible in Michigan because of the snow. But there they have hedges that are literally feet away from the roadway, side of the road. And you naturally want to slow down. In the small villages, they put literal barriers in the middle of the road and call it traffic calming. If you hit it, it's your fault because it's a form of traffic calming. So I don't know if you guys are concerned about legal issues from, people hitting trees that are technically in the right of way. But can some of this money be used to protect the commission from junk lawsuits, from possible people that might sue you? That's an idea. My mail carrier, this has nothing to do with trees, but my mail carrier is frightened to deliver the mail. I talked to her a couple weeks ago because the cars don't slow down. They just blow by her. Yeah. So safety is not just about trees. It's about educating drivers to slow down for the conditions of the road, which include trees, mailboxes, all kinds of things along the road. Thanks.
Thank you. Denise Miller, you're up.
Hi, my name is Denise Miller. I live at 241 North Sunset Street in Plainwell, but I work in Kalamazoo. And I just wanted to share that up in my neck of the woods, we've been joining a lot of Township Board and Planning Commission meetings related to a different issue, the issue being a battery energy storage system. And when we first started going to those meetings, it was very contentious how the residents felt towards the Township Board. But over time, as we have continued to work with them and they have listened to us, we now have a much better working relationship with them, to the point that at our last meeting, which was a Township Board meeting, it was suggested that there be a subcommittee, and it will be comprised of 2 people of the Township Board, 2 people from the Planning Board, and 3 residents, so that we can actually study the issue at hand and have some time to really put thought into it. It sounds like there's a lot of people in the room with great background, so I'm not going to speak about the trees, although I am also very committed to the health of the trees and the people who live in this area. But I just wanted to offer that as an idea that, you know, that could potentially go away towards regaining, building, or maintaining trust of your residents vis-a-vis the road commission in Kalamazoo County. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no other hands raised online. Do you see any, Mark? Nope, she just spoke. All right, we will move on to the agenda. We'll get into new business. Item A, request final acceptance of the Wesley Farms G Avenue condominiums in Section 5 for Comstock Township in approval of the drainage agreement. Managing Director.
All right. So on August 15th, 2023, the board approved the preliminary plans for the G Avenue condominiums, which connects Meadowwood Estates to G Avenue. The roads within the development were designed to be public with a standard of 66-foot right-of-way. With a storm sewer system draining to a privately owned retention basin to be maintained by the condominium association. Also included is a permanent cul-de-sac. Due to the location of Meadowwood Estates number 2, this retention basin pond is south of that development, so this road cannot be extended. Construction plans were approved in September of 2024. The developer began construction on portions of the project, including storm and sanitary sewer work, before the plans were approved and without appropriate RCKC inspection. As construction neared completion, the storm sewer system was televised to inspect the work. The video revealed that portions of the storm sewer were not constructed to our specifications. In some cases, were even damaged and required replacement. The developer was required to remove and replace all the deficient storm sewer infrastructure. This work was reconstructed in accordance with our standards and guidelines, including appropriate inspection and material testing. Because the correction work occurred after the final paving of the roadway, so there was alternatives that were considered with our review with the developer, and the developer elected to provide a deposit of $16,049 to cover the cost of any of the future chip seal application in this area. So I just want to stop there real quick so it's clear. When the developer went back and reworked to this area, they had to remove some of the new asphalt to make these corrections. So in conversation with our team, the resolution was not to repave the entire plat that was brand new. It was just to repave the sections that were removed. But then the developer also offered to pay for the first chip seal on the entire road when that time comes in 2029. So now the development is complete and all the final acceptance documents have been submitted, including the as-built drawings, benchmarks, and the right-of-way center line survey documents. All punch list items have been completed. The road commission team has inspected the construction and found it to be in compliance with our procedures, guidelines, and specifications for developing new public roads. Also, for the construction of new roads, this new road, a drainage agreement is essential. This agreement outlines the developer's responsibility to build and maintain a storm sewer basin and storm sewer system outside the road right-of-way. It also grants RCKC the right to channel public road drainage to the new storm basin within the development. Furthermore, the agreement permits the road commission to take over maintenance of the storm sewer discharge areas if the developer neglects their duty, with the cost being billed to the developer. Once approved, the drainage agreement will be included in the road commission's electronic files. So with that, we recommend the board accept Wesley Farms, G Avenue Condominiums in Section 5 of Comstock Township in the public road system for certification and approve the drainage agreement for the managing director's signature.
A motion would be in order. Support. We have a motion by Commissioner Davis with support to accept item A, the final acceptance of the Wesley Farms G Avenue condominiums in Section 5 of Comstock Township and approval of the drainage agreement. Is there any discussion on this specific item from anyone in the audience here or online or amongst commissioners? Vice Chair?
When existing storm had to be rehabbed, road replaced, full width or partial width. Thank you. Sorry there. My question, where the existing storm was deficient, had to be replaced. Is the full width of the road replaced or just a portion?
I don't know the exact answer to that. Maybe the team can help explain. I was out there the other day. I do know there's pieces that are partial width, but obviously there's probably areas that are full width.
Yes, Ryan Minkus, county engineer. There were some that was just like in the shoulder. There was some went half width of the road. So there was a mix of what needed to be done. That was some of the concern we had with joints kind of meandering down the road here. So
Are the new joints similar to existing, meaning center line of pavement?
there was we agreed to pave back half the road over the areas where it was kind of meandering. So we do have one joint down the middle overtopping where that zigzag was. Through the whole thing.
No reflective cracking is common.
Yep.
Can't be prevented. I don't feel a chip seal is adequate. So I just, staff wise, I think we gotta say if deficiencies occur in the next few years, the owner should in part go back to the developer with the repairs. It might take more than chip seal. I'm in favor of approving the project. Don't misunderstand, but I'm just concerned the headaches we might have could be far broader than chip seal. Thanks. That's all I have.
Any other questions from commissioners? Commissioner Davis.
Hi, Ryan. My question is just about the patching, whether or not there'd be a potential for differential settling on those road surfaces, differential compaction or differential materials that were used to underlie the road at that point.
It's entirely a possibility whenever you build something and you dig back into it. They did compact and we had testing to show that things met compaction as they were filling things back in.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's minimal.
Okay.
We've done everything we could to help minimize that.
Thanks.
Any other questions, comments from commissioners?
Can I?
Sure.
Do we have any, I'll call it warranty, like a new road they built? Do they stand behind it for a year or we take it as we receive it?
In this instance, we take it as we receive it. We did have conversations internally about how do you warranty this? I think we arrived as staff, and again, the developer had agreed to this chip seal as kind of insurance allowing us to seal up any joints or anything that we're going to open up here in the next few years. They did, I believe, during the conversations, they did offer to chip seal it right away. We were concerned because it's a new road. They're going to be building new houses. There's going to be a lot of construction equipment in there. It's probably going to tear the chip seal off anyway. So we wanted to wait till a few houses got in, put some wear and tear on the road. Then we could make sure the chip seal could go in and have a chance to have longevity with the chip seal.
Go ahead. Follow up. Yep.
Sometimes staff's been prepared to say, hey, a new road, it's going to generate X dollars for us per year. By chance, I'm not putting you on the spot. Yeah, I didn't ask Ed, but do we get $50 a year for this road? Do we get $5,000 a year? Anyway,
I know it was in Texas. I did a calculation, and it was 600 feet of road that netted us about $800 a year. So with this, I mean, you're probably under $3,000 a year is what we're going to get for the road in here. Just a rough guess. I could go back to find specific numbers and look at the
rough length. Do you have it?
Yeah, I don't have that specifically here to know what that is, but it's again, the 600 feet was about $800.
To build a road, how much does it cost per mile like this or per foot?
Per foot cost, we typically say, $550,000 to redo a road. If we're completely starting from scratch, it's getting closer to $1 million.
Yeah, so that's $200 a foot. We built from scratch. Okay, I just wanted the audience to understand the numbers a little more too. So 3,000 sounds like a lot of money till you got to replace it, and it's the money you need.
Couple good snowstorms will do that.
Yeah, I agree. Yep. Yeah, we'll spend it in 1 year or 1 month. Thanks.
Any more questions, commissioners? Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it. All right, hearing no other questions, all in favor of approving item A, the final acceptance of the Wesley Farms G Avenue condominiums in section 5 of Constant Township and approval of the drainage agreement, say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carried. Next, as of our amended agenda, we're going to go to the request and rescind the previous, and we're going to do this all, I think, as one motion, managing director. Is that fine? Request and rescind the previous, and unless you want to do it separately.
Is the motion required to do that?
Yeah, I think if we make the motion to do all three at the same time, we'll be fine. But I'll read them first, and then we'll accept the motion. But we're going to accept the motion to. I will entertain a motion that we request to rescind the previous and approve the revised Brady Township local road contract and request to rescind the previous and approve the revised Climax Township local road contract and request to rescind the previous and approve the revised Waukesha Township local road contract. A motion would be in order.
Motion to do so.
We have a motion by Commissioner Davis with support from Commissioner Kennedy, Managing Director.
All right, so just real quick, these three local road contracts, we've been working with Brady, Climax, and Waukesha Township, particularly because there was some grant funding still left available from 2025, that we could apply to projects in 2026. So we identified some areas in these townships. These are some of our more rural townships where the rubber modified chip seal application really is a good tool to help preserve our road network. So we approached the three townships with some revision options for roads that were currently chip seal projects, and we would replace them with rubber modified chip seal projects with some grant funding through Eagle to assist us with that. That transition to these rubber modified chip seal projects really doesn't change the cost of the project for the township or the road commission. It really is just tossing in the grant dollars from Eagle and allowing us to do the rubber modified chip seal in place of the conventional chip seal. So with that, we recommend the board rescind the previous and approve the revised local road contracts for Brady, Climax, and Waukesha townships.
Is there any discussion on this specific item from anyone in the audience here in the building or online? or amongst commissioners? Questions for comments for the managing director? Anyone? Commissioner Kennedy.
So the changes that you've made, or that we'd like to make, is that correct? What exactly is that going to do to help that situation? Is it the rubber? Is it something that we're testing? Is it, what exactly is the change?
So the rubber modified chip seal, we're still calling it a trial. We have some projects out there that are approaching 4 years old. So time will tell if there's definitely an advantage to the rubber modified chip seal or not. So they are trial projects. But what we have learned in working with Eagle and the vendor that has helped us apply these is we're able to apply chip seal to surfaces that are in rather poor condition, surfaces that we wouldn't typically chip seal. They would be good candidates for paving. But in these rural areas, there's not the dollars available to make those types of improvements. So the rubber modified chip seal takes that place and extends the life of the asphalt. But again, it's still in the trial phases. That's why the grants are available to help assist. And we continue to monitor these roads.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the managing director on this item from commissioners? Hearing none, we already have a motion and a second. All in favor of approving items for the request to rescind the previous and approve the revised Brady, Climax, and Waukesha Township local road contracts, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. That'll take us to our request discussion on the draft tree replacement policy. Our final new business item of the meeting. Managing director.
All right, so a little background here. The Board of County Road Commissioners of the County of Kalamazoo has long recognized the importance of roadside trees in enhancing the county's aesthetic character, environmental health, and adjacent property values. As part of the board's continued commitment to balancing infrastructure improvements with environmental stewardship, staff has developed a draft tree replacement policy establishing a structured approach to tree replacement associated with road improvement projects. And that's key, road improvement projects. We'll talk about that in a second. The proposed policy provides for a cost-sharing framework under which the board may contribute up to 50% of the cost of replacement trees, with the remaining cost borne by participating property owners. This approach supports responsible replanting efforts while maintaining safe and functional roadside clear zones. The draft policy emphasizes the use of native species, adherence to professional planting standards, and the implementation of an annual cost share program. Additionally, the draft policy includes an enhanced replacement option for projects related to road widening, reconstruction, or other improvements funded through specialized federally funded grant programs. Under this provision, up to 2 replacement trees may be planted for each 1 tree removed following the same board contribution of up to 50% of the cost of replacement trees. All replacement trees must be planted in the vicinity of the trees removed, outside of the road right-of-way, with sufficient spacing to promote healthy growth and to avoid overcrowding with existing vegetation. The draft policy establishes a general spacing guideline of approximately 50 feet between the trees. If approved, staff would proceed with developing the annual species list, detailed cost-sharing guidelines, and corresponding budget allocations necessary for implementation of this program. Staff has also reviewed Act 51 and confirmed that the tree replacement policy would be limited to trees removed as part of preservation or structural improvement projects. So that goes back to this policy, this draft policy would only be eligible for tree replacements that are removed as part of projects. So that tree that fell in the middle of the night that wasn't part of a project, road maintenance team goes and removes it from the road, that would not qualify for a tree replacement. And then I just wanted to share on the budget portion just real quick. So a little bit of history. We used to have years ago a tree replacement policy, and this is derived from that. There's some language from that we reused. So I just wanted to share, first of all, sizing of trees. we were really focused on what they call a 2-inch caliper tree. So that's 2 inches in diameter, 6 inches above ground. So it's generally, depends on the species, but might be a 4 to 7 foot tall tree. So not a little sapling, but yet not a much more mature tree. But in that situation, in that instance, a typical deciduous tree that size, which including the cost of purchasing the tree, transportation to the site, and having the contractor plant it, ranges from $500 to $800 is what we've seen today. So that cost would be shared between the road commission and the resident. So really just open it up for discussion and comments, and we can make some revisions if necessary and come back with a final draft.
Very good. Please, the board will get some cleans but first.
Sure.
Is there anybody? Oh, go ahead, Vice Chair.
We have a commitment to be at county commission meeting at 6:30 p.m.
And we may have to change it. That's okay. If we go along, we'll postpone that meeting with the county commission.
Thank you.
Yep. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak on this possible tree replacement policy? You have 3 minutes to state your name. Come on forward. Get that mic on first. Welcome.
Thank you. Brad Sadowski, 1963 East Y Avenue. Ironically enough, I was here at the May 20th supervisors meeting right here, where this idea was born by a gentleman sitting in the second row, the end of the aisle there, as an idea, as PR to soften the blow of this SS4A project. His words, not mine. And to soften the pushback from residents. I've spent a lot of time with this over the last 4 weeks, as you can imagine, based on the information provided to you, and spent a lot of time going door to door. You saw the comments that I sent you yesterday in the petitions. Unfortunately, this is a no-fly for residents, this replacing saplings. You heard today with the dozens and dozens and dozens of responses of these saplings are not going to replace 50, 60, 100 plus year old trees. And the impact that they have not only on their owner's property value, the safety value of having them there, and the environmental impact. And I can assure you, and I did hear about this actually coming to fruition through I believe Channel 8 or Channel through news report through your PR individual. So obviously you took the May 20th meeting to heart, and unfortunately, this is a no-go for residents, and especially today, I'm just hearing now that you're going to charge them 50%. Is that what I heard? You're going to make them pay 50% of these saplings? That's really a no-go. So just let you guys know, I appreciate the effort, but let's keep talking this through and let's keep figuring out a compromise that we can all be happy with. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I really agree with what you said. I appreciate you articulating that. I just want to add that.
Can I get your name and address?
Maryland Branch, 9085 North Riverview Drive, Cooper Township. I have spent the last 40 years of my life tending the trees along the road, from small to large. I have spent 2 years of, well, actually 2, 3, 4, 5 years removing gypsy moths because I wanted to save those trees. I wanted to take care of those trees, and I didn't want other trees to become infested. The county didn't do anything about those gypsy moths the second year. We survived 3 years of me going out there and picking those gypsy moths off. I've also pruned and paid pletchers out of Plainwell to come and prune the trees. I agree that an arborist needs to look at the trees. They need to be properly pruned. Limbs hanging over the trees, over the roads, is that my responsibility?
Yeah, if
you're going to come cut down my trees, but you're not going to prune my trees.
I need you to speak to the discussion of our tree replacement policy.
So I've taken care of all of those old trees. You're going to plant new trees that are not going to provide the shade, and I'm going to be the one taking care of them again. I feel like you need to take care of the trees that we have instead of me having to pay. Let me see, what would it cost me? $100, $200 to replace the trees that won't provide the shade that I need?
Thank you. Next.
My name is Tiffany Sadowski, 1963 East Y Avenue. Something you probably haven't considered when you plant new trees. We've planted many new trees on our property, and we have to completely screen them in because rabbits and deer annihilate them. And the size that you're talking, they're not going to survive their first year. So even though that's it's a good thought. Again, the trees that are already there are doing a much better job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Julie Richardson, 44667 27th Street, Madawan. This isn't in my backyard, but it's in my heart. So I actually spearheaded Save Hay Creek and Save Trees, which was the consumer's energy proposal to put a power line from the substation on Van Kale all the way to Lawrence to provide power for the marijuana. We were told that would never be changed. So the way that we changed that, I want to tell the group
Ma'am,
back here, was that we hired an attorney for the group. Several families paid for the attorney, and several families were willing to give quite a bit of money. And I'm thinking that that's a good idea for this group.
Ma'am, if I could.
The idea that you are considering
Ma'am, I need you to speak to the
trees.
Thank
I'm
you.
talking about replacing trees. The idea that you are even talking about that after all of these people came up here today and spoke to you is unbelievable. This should be tabled. These trees are not going to be replaced. You're going to be replaced, or this is going to be stopped. Those are your options.
Next. Seeing no one in the building, we have one online. Supervisor Sherry Bell from Ashmo Township. You're up.
Oh.
Yep.
Good evening. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
There we go. I didn't want to be off camera. I want to thank the chair and commissioners for the opportunity to comment on behalf of Ashmo Township. First, I want to thank the Road Commission for taking the time to develop a formal tree replacement policy. Having a consistent framework is valuable for all of us who partner on transportation projects, and I appreciate the willingness to address this important issue. My comments are intended simply to provide feedback from a local agency and implementation perspective as you continue refining your policy. I'd encourage the Commission to consider how this policy aligns with the planning goals of its local partners. Townships, as land use agencies, use our master plans to reflect the vision of our residents and for their communities. Ashmo, along with many other local municipalities, has adopted long-range plans that prioritize preserving and expanding tree canopy along transportation corridors. Beyond aesthetics, trees help manage stormwater, reduce runoff during increasingly intense rain events, and contribute to safer, more comfortable streets. Allowing flexibility for appropriate right-of-way plantings where safety and utility permits would better align this policy with many of the community goals already established across the county. One area we encourage the Commission to reconsider is the continued prohibition on replacement trees within the public right-of-way. We understand the maintenance, utility, and liability concerns, and there are certainly locations where trees are not appropriate. However, there are also many corridors where they can be safely accommodated through thoughtful design. If If replacement trees are prohibited entirely within the right-of-way, they will likely need to be replaced on private property, which introduces additional implementation challenges. Can public funds be spent on private property? Will temporary easements be required? Who is responsible for acquiring and funding those easements? What happens when a property owner declines? On many of our recent projects, we are already acquiring easements for sidewalks, non-motorized facilities, grading, and retaining walls. Adding tree replacement outside of the right-of-way could require even more private property, particularly in neighborhoods with limited frontage. A few other implementation questions that may be helpful to clarify why we're refining this policy is if trees must be removed solely to construct a non-motorized path or other public improvement, would the township be expected to participate in 50% of the replacement costs? And if a township elects to participate in the program, would neighborhood road funds be eligible to help support those costs where legally permissible? Finally, we encourage the commission to revisit some of the technical standards. A minimum 2-inch caliper tree is relatively small, and it may be worthwhile to evaluate whether large caliper trees could improve long-term survivability and community benefit. Similarly, the proposed 50-foot spacing appears wider than standards commonly used by other communities and may reduce the long-term canopy this program is intended to restore. Thank you again for your time, and we hope these comments are helpful as you continue refining the program that is practical to implement and beneficial for all communities throughout the county.
Thank you, Supervisor Bell.
Thanks.
Seeing no other comments online, I will turn it over to one more person in the audience. Okay, you got it. Name and name.
Hi, my name is Georgia Evans, 830 East U Avenue, Vicksburg. In regards to the tree replacement, personally, I live across the street from Prairie View Park, and all 10 of my trees are being removed. There's no room to put new trees in the front. Those trees are in the right of way. So I will not be able to replace those trees with new ones. There's a consumer's line. And if you've been to Prairie View Park, which I have a picture there if you'd like to look, there's the roadway, the power line, which is a 15-foot no tree zone. So I would have no ability to plant those trees. So unfortunately, that wouldn't work, and it wouldn't work for several residents. I know that for a fact. So I appreciate your attempt, but we still want to keep our trees. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no other comments, I will, Managing Director.
I have just a couple comments I wanted to share. First of all, just for clarification, these replacement trees is part of this draft policy. It's very explicit in the draft that says the replacement trees shall be planted within the maintained roadside area in the general vicinity of the trees removed. So the goal is to put them back at the road front, but outside the road right away, so they're not a concern of the road commission in the future. The other thing I want to share is this draft policy is not just for SS4A projects. This is for all projects. The road commission removes trees on projects annually, and sometimes over 1,000 trees a year. You folks just don't hear about it because it's at a smaller scale. But this program is 130 miles all happening at one time, right? So you can count times it by 10, if you will, right? So that's why we have a lot of interest in this. And I just want to share that the policy is not just for SS4A, it's for all projects that the road commission would do.
Thank you, Managing Director. Commissioners, questions, comments, discussion. Commissioner Davis.
Managing Director, just a point of clarification. This is, as I understand it, a completely voluntary program. It would be up to the property owners to request a replacement tree.
Absolutely.
On one, then no one's going to be forced to take one or pay out if they don't have the money.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Vice Chair.
Just a little bit of the process. When we deal with
Microphone, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Question about process here. When we deal with policy, usually there's a first reading, maybe additional revisions, additional readings. We're not pressed to take any action today. This can be deliberated, and the intent's not to delay it unreasonably or to act with haste.
Yeah.
Good. So we're under no pressure today to make a decision. Frankly, I just like to table it. We can have some discussion, but with the intent to table it to a future meeting.
Yep, right now we're in discussion, so there is no motion on the floor. So yep, we can definitely, the chair's prerogative, I'll just say, yes, it's something that we can discuss today and bring it back in 2 weeks and discuss it some more and make revisions and continue to get community input. This is a reason we have this is because of the input we've gotten, the feedback we've gotten from township officials and county residents. This was going to be on the agenda 2 weeks ago. However, with road commissioners' schedules and staff agendas, it just didn't make it. So that's why it's on this week's agenda and not 3 weeks ago. But yes, it can't bore out from the feedback we've been getting. So yes, absolutely. Anything further? Sure.
It's a little bit of a side to this. I want Mr. Sidowski to know I read his email completely. I went through his references. Just, thank you for your input and the resources. I've also spoke with Mr. Howard Hill. I will say we have limited funds. All this glorious new road money we've heard about hasn't shown up yet. So frankly, we can spend dollars on gravel shoulders, etc. Potholes. Our budgets are limited. We'll work on what the best ways forward, all respectful of citizen input. So anyway, we do our homework. We're not trying to be negligent. Thank you.
Commissioner Kennedy.
So, Supervisor Manager, does this help in any way our community that has come out today to share with us their concerns about, what we're currently doing, what's out there, part of the grant? This is something that you shared that was initially started 3 years ago, and here we are. And does this help in any way? Is there anything that we could do with this proposal? And I know it's still in debate stages, etc., that maybe we can help our community. I don't even know if the word is heal, but work together and try to help them understand and work with us in what the grant, the SS4A grant is about. And, you talk in the policy, it talks about replacement trees, etc. I understand the comments that were made that, they're going to be young saplings. I'm not a tree person. I'm sorry. I'm a city girl, but it doesn't mean I don't understand. But is there anything that we could do to work together with the community to try through this program that we are, this road improvement project that we're trying to do, to be able to come to some type of general consensus?
Well, so that's a tough question. Let me back up a little bit. So this tree replacement policy, this draft, right? If I back us up, and I don't know the exact year offhand, but we've had a tree replacement policy for many years. It was discontinued approximately, I'm going to say 8 to 10 years ago, because there wasn't any interest in it. I say, and it should be fair, there was minimal interest in it. So there is a process where the road commission has to advertise public bids, right? Seek bidders, make approvals. So there's cost for staff time. Commissioners have to approve, and then we have these tree replacements available for residents, and they weren't using them. So we stopped the program because it wasn't being used. It was just costing money. But now there may be a need for it. And that's the thought, right? If we're going to remove trees in the road right away, and we all agree, trees should exist in our environment, then can we just move trees, which you can't move trees, so can we plant a new tree outside the road right away so we don't have to deal with it in the future, or somebody doesn't have to deal with it in the future, but yet there's still a tree canopy, something lining our road right away. That's the goal, but it's a long-term program, right? Because we can't replace a 60-inch DPH maple with another 60-inch DVH maple, because you just can't pick one up and move it.
Sure.
Right. So this is our only option. I will say we also threw in here a 2-for-1. Right. So there's the potential that the property owner, if it's part of a federal aid project, with SS4A would be, there's the potential that the property owner could partner with the road commission for 2 trees replacing 1 tree.
Still at a cost to the property
owner and the road commission. Yes.
So is it fair to say that this came up as a result of the 8,000 trees being cut down?
This was talked about at the township supervisors meeting, right, as a means to try to offset that.
Okay.
Right. Yes. Whether people use it or not, it's entirely up to them. I'm sure some probably would and some wouldn't.
Yes, this policy discussion came about from a township supervisors meeting we got feedback from township supervisors and county officials that they would like to see something in place, and this is what we've come up with. So yes, we've taken the feedback that we've gotten from residents. We hear what the people have said. They just don't want their trees cut down and us to leave. So we've come up with this policy. And that's why we're discussing it today.
And I also want to share there's a significant cost, right, that comes with this policy potentially.
Yes.
If
it's not free,
we moved ahead at 50-50 at $400 a tree times 8,000 trees, right? That's $3.2 million the road commission would have to come up with. The residents would have to share in the other $3.2 million. I don't anticipate every resident would use it, but we have to be prepared for that financially if we approve this policy.
Commissioner Davis.
I've noted that a multiple of our citizens mentioned the word legacy today. I think that's an extraordinary point to make. And I think it's also that we've had our own policy of why we're here and what we stand for, with a view toward preservation at the very end of our goals. I think those two are legacy and preservation, with a view toward preservation, are linked. And I think this type of a policy is one of those policies that brings that forward, in that it's long-term, has a long stand, has a way for this generation to create legacy into the future. So it's an opportunity for us to be part of a process by which we encourage more trees to be planted on private land, since we're pretty well set on the idea that trees in the right of way, in the median, into the future are a bad idea. We need to if we're going to minimize that risk, then we also need to think in the long term, how do we bring those benefits into the future generations? On the road commission have to have an extraordinarily long term perspective. I'm a geologist. My perspective is in the millions of years. But for us, 15-year plan is short. We have everything we do is based on looking well into the future and what the needs of the future community is going to be. And I think this is a small, almost insignificant step in that direction. But that was another point one of our citizens also made, is that small steps, small things are cumulative. And if we do this in the long haul and we make it part of our overall program, and if we continue to push this sort of thing, we'll have an opportunity to make some improvement. And not that this is any kind of a cure-all or mitigation for anything else that we may or may not do, but in and of itself, the idea of encouraging more tree planting is, in my opinion, a good idea.
Thank you. Other comments, questions? Vice Chair?
I think some partners would be great. Big picture, not identifying who yet, that should become part of our discussions. Just, from my past almost 30 years, municipal civil engineering, especially my work in the greater Holland area, Ottawa County. We did municipal water and wastewater. We were the engineering side working for the township. Standard specs, included replacement of trees when we upset them with sanitary sewer or water main with a 2-inch caliber tree, I think chest high, 6 inches up. But anyway, I'm familiar with that kind of way to help mitigate some of the harm done. It's not equal, but I like what Commissioner Davis had to say. Small steps in the right direction create a legacy, and we have opportunity to do that. Make good steps. Some will be small, some will be big strides. Done in the right direction will create a legacy that's generally good for majority.
Thank you. Other Commissioner comment? To build up what you said on finding other partners, I'm actually meeting with the Kalamazoo Conservation District, Kalamazoo County Conservation District tomorrow to talk about what they do. They do annual tree planting every year as part of their fundraising efforts, and going to meet with them to see what they can do to help us and what we can do to help them, and to see what we can do to help plant more trees above and beyond this policy with possible grant money from other outside groups, maybe the Arbor Foundation, etc. But plant those trees outside the road right away. I know in Fraze Park in Kalamazoo Township, they're doing a tree planting ceremony here if they haven't already. But those are the kinds of things we can do as well above and beyond what we're talking about with this tree replacement policy. Managing Director, with the tree replacement policy, is there a guarantee or some kind of warranty as far as these new trees that would be planted if they don't live, like the resident talked about, deer, rabbits?
Right. So, of course, at the additional cost, if the board decides to go that direction, what we provided there wouldn't be. So once the tree is planted, it's the responsibility of the property owner to maintain and water it.
Okay. And that's something we could change if we wanted to.
We could, absolutely. Right.
Okay. Commissioner Kennedy.
So I want to make sure that we're clear this is something for the future. Okay, so we also need to take care of our legacy. But I also want to make sure that that we make sure our community is at the table also. I think that's extremely important. And I know that you're looking for partners. That's a wonderful thing, but those are business partners. I want to make sure that our community is somehow involved and have a seat at the table, so they're not, I'm not going to say again neglected, because I don't know, initially I wasn't here, if they were neglected to begin with, in that the 8,000 trees, but I want to be sure that they are at least considered and thought of wherever that takes place in the future.
Thank you. Commissioner Davis.
Yeah. Andy Davis, there's been a lot of conversation about the idea that somehow we've been negligent in our outreach to the community. And one of the things I've struggled with, I try to outreach to the community on many occasions, is that in the last decade or so, one of the things that's happened to our community is we no longer have one source to which we all as a community tend to gravitate for information. And particularly like 3 to 4 years ago, there was specifically a vacuum that existed in the media. The Kalamazoo Gazette used to be a fundamental component of my day. It was a fundamental component of most of the people probably standing here. At this point in time, where do any of us all go to find any one piece of information that we can share? where does our staff share it with you? That gets as many that many eyeballs. I mean, we don't have it in our budget to buy, media time at 8 o'clock on on the news every day, or make sure we're on Channel 3, and they won't cover this. They don't cover us. We don't get free media, and we used to be something like this. A meeting like this would have been front and center in the editorial page on the Kalamazoo Gazette, and the whole community would have been aware of what we were doing. Those fundamental structures no longer exist, and the fact that we're having to people feel so disconnected from their government, from the things that are happening in their communities, is kind of a systemic problem that we're all struggling with, and our staff has, I'm sure, tried, diligently to reach out in the minimal media that they were afforded. But as you've all seen this change in the last decade or so, it's a tough place to connect with people. And I just wanted to encourage you all to have patience with us as we try to figure the best way to outreach to you and for you to reach back to us.
Any other discussion on the proposed tree policy, replacement policy, commissioners? Hearing none, do you want to make a motion to bring it back in 2 weeks? Would you like to do that? Or
let's think about how soon. I still feel rushed with 2 weeks.
Okay.
Personally. I agree, bring it back. It might take a month. We can always say 2 weeks and then have another look, and then
we can do further discussion in 2 weeks.
Discussions,
if you want. So, floor is yours, however you want to.
Let's table it 2 weeks
for further discussion.
Motion for further discussion. What's the right words to put?
Yep, right. That was it. We're tabled or postponed for 2 weeks for further discussion.
I'll second
is that second? Any discussion on that proposed motion, commissioners? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion carries. We'll talk about it again in 2 weeks. All right. That'll take us to our second opportunity for the public to speak on non-agenda items. You have 3 minutes. State your name and address. And then I'm just talking to staff. Do we want to notify the county that we might not be there? Travis? Okay. Thank you.
Marilyn Branch again, 9085 North Riverview Drive. I think one thing that was not spoken clearly enough was the lack of patrols on our roads. I don't know if you worked with the safety, whatever the title is for safety. Back when I moved there in the 1980s and early 90s, we have a parking spot that's right by the road because our driveway goes downhill, and we park there in the winter so we can get out. Sheriff always used to park there. And I go, hi, and oh, thanks for being here. And he would pull out and he would catch people speeding. All of us along my road, our senior citizens, we cross the road to get our mail. My neighbor's 96. She walks across the road to get her mail. You know how hard it is to walk across the road and get our mail because people are driving too fast and not paying attention. So in front of our house, we've had 7 incidents in 40 years. One of those hit a tree. County removed the tree, didn't remove the stump. I pruned to keep the suckers from growing so there wouldn't be a tree there again. I'm out working in my landscape front yard and sink up to my knee in the decaying stump. The other stump that the county left has now grown into a full-size tree. My yard is landscaped, no grass. I'm going to need the tree stumps ground. Don't have a lawn. I need the guarantee. I also need the guarantee that my landscaping, bushes, shrubs, will not be ruined by the tree trimmers. I've worked with consumers. I have to be there. They didn't remove a limb. The supervisor came by and said, I have to have them come remove this limb. If this hits you in the head when you're working in your landscaped shrubbery, you could sue them. So I hope that you interview the tree people correctly. So public safety is something that is very concerning to me. When I saw the guy right in front of me pass this lady on the left who was driving slow, he was tailgating her. That was the risk. Nobody's there to see it but me. I haven't seen a patrol down my road or a speeder stop in eons. I've called public safety twice. We don't have enough money to fund safety patrol. Hello? Okay, I also go and pick up the beer cans and the little pint bottles of liquor on the side of my road. I do it several times a year. Problem, not the trees. All right, and I have a proposal for you to think about in listening to
You have
this
a
last
minute left.
conversation.
Plenty of time.
What if you staggered? What if you staggered the tree cutting? Cut down the worst of them, leave the healthy ones.
That was wrong.
You said you've got up to a 15-year plan? So cut a stagger. Take the pain away. Remove the trees that need to go. One in my yard needs to go. I know it does. I can't afford to take it down. Remove that tree, leave the other ones. Let me plant a little tree that will grow to shade my house. Then come back a year later, remove the next tree. Why not have a plan that takes away the pain from the community that you care about? And stagger the planting. Have a long-term plan, not a short-term plan.
Thank
There
you.
are 4 dead trees on my road.
Thank you.
I removed one of them out of the road.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry I was wrong. You had, that's.
Thank you for
Yep.
letting me
You're welcome.
propose that.
Thank you. We'll take it under consideration. You're next. Go ahead. Name and address, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Rob Morrison. I live at 5188 Green Meadow Road in Oshtemo Township. I'm going to add my voice to many others today, asking you to amend the grant to really remove the clear cutting of the trees from it. I think there'd be a better investment for traffic calming measures because those have been proven effective than any other type of remediation. It'll be a lot safer, and it's funds that you can use that won't have, I think, adverse effects. Problem with clear cutting is that you're going to get soil erosion along with the winter winds, and that's just going to make it more dangerous for all vehicles on the road. Because I don't think that's a great solution clear cutting is not going to help for people who are driving inebriated or otherwise under the influence or just driving very carelessly. There's really no solution for that, or there's clear cutting will not provide one. So I think that it's really a problem, and that as a solution really doesn't work. Also, living in Oshtemo, we have a master plan that is almost been approved. It's on the cusp of that. And in it, it recognizes that removing trees is not part of a safer roads initiative. So I think that you've heard a lot of testimony today about keeping trees, and 8,000 trees is quite a few. So the proven benefits, there's so many different benefits that they provide, and there's really no strong rationale, either scientific or otherwise, for removing them. So why create one problem when, obviously you have limited resources? So I do have one recommendation that I think might be helpful to consider, and that is because today you've heard about how important trees are to people in many of the different townships here in the county. And there was discussion about someone raised, how about a committee to help you with that? I know this has been raised in different townships. It's not always been embraced, but think about an advisory committee that could help you with a issue like trees. That's something that would be in your purview, and you could have an advisory committee of people and town citizens. And what they would do is they would advise you on these issues. They would help you with the public input and give you that information, but then they would not be doing your job for you. They would be facilitating this. So please consider that. That might be real helpful. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there any other comments? Seeing a couple more, come on up. If you feel free to line up, that way we know how many people are speaking, or sit up front for us and cut down on the time between speakers. Go ahead, you're welcome.
Hello again, Katie Meyer, 294 Baymore in Ashtimo. Forgot my address last time. So I have some data to share this time, instead of just being, real feisty up here. So according to, I appreciate what you said about trying to reach out to the community and other ways that we can do it. So I guess there was an online interactive map that was created to take public comment. And it was the only opportunity to take public comment for this, before it came out. And it only had 324 responses. That's only 0.2% of the Kalamazoo County population. But in comparison, the city of Kalamazoo received over 1,000 responses at various forums about this SS4A grant. So truly, that just shows you that we really care once we know what's going on. I think it would have been a lot higher. So perhaps the online interactive map maybe do more than that. I don't know. I don't have the answers. I'm just giving that comment. And then Rob already talked about the Ashtimo master plan. It literally says in Ashtimo's new master plan, the fatal crash rate in Ashtimo is higher than any other surrounding township. Larger cities like Kalamazoo or Portage and the statewide average. And at the very last sentence, it says, more needs to be done to ensure that all people traveling in Ashtimo are safe. Widening roads, making bigger intersections, and removing trees is not the answer. It's in print for Ashtimo. Second, so here we go from the Ashtimo Master Streets, page 146. Trees are generally the most effective form of landscaping in terms of traffic calming, due to the fact that they can grow large enough to provide optical narrowing effect that should, in turn, reduce traffic speeds. A tunnel effect is created and the driver's field of view is narrowed. Although the introduction of landscaping and isolation is not anticipated to generate significant changes in vehicle speeds, implementation in conjunction with other traffic calming elements, such as vertical or horizontal deflection, can be used to foster reduced and consistent speeds along the corridor. And a study in Texas urban roads compared accident records before and after planting over 3 to 5 year time spans. Analysis showed a 46% decrease in crash rates across the 10 urban arterial and highway sites after landscape improvements were installed. The number of collisions with trees were reduced by 71%. All types of roadside treatments, roadside landscaping, median landscaping, and sidewalk widening with tree planting positively affected vehicle safety outcomes. A marked decrease in the number of pedestrian fatalities was also noted, from 18 to 2 after landscape improvements. So all of this is just to say, removing trees isn't the answer. And I do appreciate that we got this big grant. That's wonderful for the community. But like others have said, let's try to amend it. Let's try to make it where we're not removing just trees. Just the dead.
Thank you. Welcome.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to keep it short and I'm going to keep it simple. And I can't help but to think about Alexander the Great and the Gordian knot. Nobody could untie the knot. And Alexander came and with one stroke with his sword, he cut the knot and he went on to conquer the world. It really could be that simple with all this discussion. Rumble strips, by your calculation, I took your figures, reduced serious injuries and accidents from lane departures by 72.5%. I may be off a little bit, but not off much. That's your figure. That's data. Theory-based, data-driven. Let's put in those rumble strips, and you can forget about the trees. Put in the rumble strips, then collect the data. Watch the reduction in serious accidents and injuries. Collect more data. Do that first. And then forget about the trees. Save everybody money and make everybody happy. He goes, no. Yeah, you won't be happy? You'll be happy, believe me. Good enough, guys. My 3 minutes is up. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Welcome.
Hi. At first, thank you for your patience and time in listening to everyone. I had to leave and come back, so I'm probably going to repeat some things that other folks said. I went to a county commission meeting and came back. You guys are still here. Good job, y'all. I also in support of changing from broad scale tree cutting to selective cutting, focus on dead and down trees to invasive species and trees that are blocking intersections, and leave healthy, mature trees alone. I understand it probably makes sense to have a plan that can be applied with equitably across the county. I agree that it would be fantastic to create an advisory committee to create a plan to help make a different decision about how to do the tree cutting. I want to add statistics that I'm not sure if were shared. I'm Jenny Dozema, by the way. I live in Kalamazoo County. I live at 6612 Hart Drive. My road is not one of the roads that is on the map to be cut, but surrounding roads are. I have driven around the county to look at the number of trees that are marked to be cut. It's a lot of them. Some statistics of note that we forget to think about when we're talking about the environment and speaking from our emotions about how much we love the trees. I love the trees. 1 in 5 infant mortalities in Kalamazoo County can be attributed to air pollution. Trees are natural air cleaners. 300 to 700 deaths in Michigan premature deaths in Michigan can be attributed to air pollution. Trees help reduce air pollution. Trees also help reduce carbon dioxide emissions by sequestration. We are like the work of trying to mitigate climate change is complex, and we really can't afford anymore to let go of any opportunities to reduce carbon emissions. We need to both be planning to reduce carbon emissions and planning to adapt to the changing climate. And there are not good enough data to back traffic safety being increased from tree removal. There's evidence, like the woman that was just up here shared, that says that trees can actually increase safety by slowing traffic. We could all probably admit to feeling a little bit safer to drive really fast when we can see really far, and drive a little slower when we can't see as well. So there's data to back it, but we can probably also all feel that and relate to that. Stormwater, habitat, all of the things that were already mentioned. I just want to end with replanting new trees is not good enough. Please consider the selective, reducing the amount of trees you're removing.
Thank you very much. Next.
How you guys doing?
Well,
830 East U Avenue, Vicksburg, Michigan.
Name.
Mike Duluth.
Thank you.
Anyway, I live out right in front of the county park. I don't know. 2 weeks ago, I went out front, get the mail, and I see these yellow marks. I was very upset. It's saddening to see these trees go. Listen to all these people today. It's going to touch some people like me. And last year, across Portage Road, you guys clear cutted down to the curb, and you pretty much annihilated it. And it was pretty sad. And now you're coming on our road, and I challenge you guys, you need to come out, take a drive, check out the scenery. Trust me, it'll change. It'll change your thoughts. So anyway, I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Seeing no one else. Welcome, 3 minutes.
Thank you. Julie Richardson, 44667 27th Street, Mattawan. So you've heard from your community. Sounds like the decision was probably made before you got here. Unfortunately, the community a lot of the community didn't receive the survey that you sent out. That's very sad. But you have the opportunity to turn things around. There's a lady right here. She offered her services to help you amend the grant. I'm praying that you will listen, that you will work with the community to do what's best for the community. You don't have to have a tree in your yard, but these people want trees in their yards. And I understand you own the right of way of the road, or that that you have the right to take those trees. But those trees are here for us. It's time we realize it. Again, take a breath. They're making your air that you breathe. It isn't right to just take down healthy trees. So please do the right thing and work with your community.
Thank you. Seeing no one else in the building, we will go to online comments for non-agenda items. If you have online and would like to speak to the road commission on a non-agenda item, you have 3 minutes. Just raise your hand and we will unmute you, or you can unmute yourself. Seeing no one, just to remind people online that the chat is for technical issues only, and no comments in the chat will be read into the record. Seeing no one online, we will close public comments on non-agenda items and move to the managing director's report. Managing director.
All right. Really just one item. We have a township supervisor meeting scheduled for tomorrow here at the road commission. And a reminder, that's at 9:30 a.m., not 10 o'clock. So, and then we were scheduled to go to the county board meeting tonight. We'll have to discuss if we're still going to do that or not.
They're having technical difficulties at the county, so I can first not we can't show the presentation.
Okay, let's postpone. Let's contact county administration right now. Let them know that we need to postpone for a date that they can work with our staff to find a date. Okay, July 7th. Does that sound good to road commissioners? If not, we'll figure something.
Yeah, I'll see if I can secure that date.
Okay,
if that works. So that's all I have.
Okay. So just to commissioners, there is no joint meeting tonight with the county. We will postpone it tentatively for July 7th, but we'll get those dates and confirmed later on as well. So is there any questions for the managing director from the commissioners? Seeing none, we will move on to commissioners' time and committee reports. Commissioner Kennedy, you're first up.
So the only thing I want to share with the community is last week we had a Women's Veterans Conference, and that was well attended. Thank you to the 17 vendors that came and the women veterans that participated. And I also want to share with our community that I do see you and I do hear you. We are still working on making a decision on how that's supposed to go. I'm still learning, but I really need you to understand that we hear you and we see you. And with that, I have nothing else. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Kennedy. Commissioner Davis.
I just wanted to report that I did not attend the
Mike.
I did not attend the EHEC meeting this month. I had other extraordinary pressing business I had to take care of. So my apologies to Jeff Sorensen for not making it to that meeting and for the rest of the committee. And I just wanted to express my deep appreciation for all the citizens who showed up tonight. And we hope they come back to some more of our regularly scheduled programming. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Commissioner Thompson.
Yes, we had a Board of Public Works meeting scheduled for Thursday, but I got an email today saying that's been canceled, so we won't have one until later on. I too want to thank all the citizens for their comments that have been brought in and a lot of things to look at.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Vice Chair Stayhauer.
I'll just echo to appreciate the citizen input. I do want you to understand, we're about 3 years into the Safe Streets for All. We have tried to publicize. Where'd you all go, by the way? I don't even see the media here. You know, I've been here year number 9.
News right now.
This project isn't new to me. I've heard about it for probably 4 years, roughly. I'm sorry, as citizens, you didn't hear what we heard. I think there were opportunities, maybe not sufficient and adequate. I appreciate Commissioner Davis' comments. It's hard to get word out. We don't have the Gazette, for example, one source for all. I do want you to know we had partners in Safe Streets for All, like Kalamazoo Bike Club. I have witnessed the results of bicyclists, people riding bicycles. Let me rephrase that. People, us, riding bicycles over rumble strips and crashing and breaking hips and ribs and arms and legs. We do have partners. Please respect us for that. Sherry Bell, I appreciate your comments. We have shared master street plans with the road commission staff. We hear you. Public media, free. Our meetings are recorded. They're available to the public 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Tune in if you can't be here. We don't operate in secret. We're a public agency. So again, thank you for your comments. We take them serious. We care about safety. Not one. It's multifaceted. They're hard decisions. And we'll grapple with it. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair.
Well, one more.
Oh, yep, go ahead.
I cannot be at County Parks in July. And Commissioner Kennedy said she'll gladly take my place. So thank you. Just FYI to the whole board. That's
good to know. Thank you, Vice Chair. Just to pick up what you said on the public media network, all our meetings are available on public media network. But I just want to give a shout out to staff, the fact that our meetings are all on Zoom, that the public can call in, unlike some other, I think we're very unique in that in the whole county as far as that's concerned. That's a shout out to our technical expertise and the kind of business we run with math and science and data and engineering and that kind of stuff. And that's why I'm very proud of the fact that anybody can call in on our Zoom meetings during our meetings. It's a wonderful asset. And I kudos to our organization for making that available to the public. I just want to back up a little bit on the SS4A and the tree the removal of trees if it were to go forward or as planned on the stumps. We grind the stumps down, correct?
We do in the
Yes.
undeveloped area, low, not maintained,
Flush cut them in the non-maintained areas and grind them in developed yards. So good. I just want to confirm that.
Chair Plonsky, also on that same subject, these tree stumps that we keep hearing about and see,
yes,
those are left for the property owner and they're placed outside the road right away.
Okay.
So they are there, they're visible, they could potentially get hit, but they're not our liability and our road right away.
Very good. Thank you for clarifying that. Couple things I want to mention about what happened with the comments tonight. I want to thank the residents for coming out today. It was a very well-attended meeting. My most well-attended meeting in the 9 years I've been a road commissioner, so thank you very much. And this is definitely the longest meeting I think we've ever had. Just a minute, just to talk about the 130 miles of centerline rumble strips, 74 miles of rumble strips on the side of the road, 56 miles of those side roads are not getting rumble strips due to our collaboration with the bike club, because they're going to be bike paths or part of our master plan for bicycles. That was in collaboration with the bicycle clubs and bicycle people here in the county. So I just want to make sure that everyone knows that. The 3 E's I'll come back to: education, engineering, and enforcement. We do the engineering and we help in the education. We do not do the enforcement here at the Road Commission. That is the purview of the Sheriff's Department or other law enforcement agencies. Driver's training was brought up today. I would like to see the state go back to it was when I went to driver's training, where everybody got it for free through the school system. No, I was in Grand Rapids. Grand Rapids Central, we had actually simulators, the only ones in the state at the time. Yeah, so I would like to see that happen so that everyone gets the same training instead of multiple companies, for-profit companies, teaching our children and our future drivers different things. So I definitely in favor of that, and that's something that we need to bring to our state legislators. Something that was also mentioned is Kalamazoo County is a growing county. Most counties in Michigan are losing population. We are unique in that we are growing population, and we should be very proud of that. And with that come growing pains. And so we have to think of things different as well. And as I said before, we use data, science, math, and engineering to come up with our how we make decisions, and that's how we're going to continue to do that in the future. One of the questions brought up by the residents is what happens to the trees. Managing Director, can you address that when we cut down a tree?
Sure. So all these SS4A projects are in what we call right-of-way by user areas. So the property owner actually owns the property to the center of the road, which includes the tree. So we always offer that option to the residents. We send out what we call a tree removal notification form that identifies the trees, types of species, and that number corresponding with the tree will be on the form. And then we offer the residents the option of keeping the wood or even portions of the wood if they want the wood chips. It's really theirs to have and even sell if they wanted to or use. But also we offer the option of removing the tree completely and just taking it away.
And what do we do to the tree if the resident doesn't want it?
So typically a contractor takes the tree. They may cut it up for firewood. It's hard to say. They may resell it. We don't know. If our staff takes it and there's no interest in the tree, maybe because of the type of species it is, it'll get burnt at a gravel pit.
Very good. Thank you. And then the last thing I'll mention is the Safe Streets for All program that the city put in for is a totally separate from our program, correct?
That is correct. Totally separate.
Very good. All right. Commissioner Thompson.
I just like to ask one thing.
Sure.
You know,
Oh, turn your mic on.
Yeah. Here we go. Sorry. You know, a lot of good comments from the citizens, and one of the things that I think I heard over and over was they didn't hear about this, they didn't hear about that. So I would ask for those that are still here is give us some ideas on what you think would help get information out to you.
Well, after the meeting.
But that's, I'm just saying, help us help you.
Yep, absolutely. And for those who stuck around, yes, we're available for conversations after the meeting. Absolutely.
Thank you.
And staff is available for questions as well.
And we have a website.
And definitely check our website. We have a tab specifically for the Safe Streets for All as well. So yes. All right. Hearing no other business, a motion to adjourn would be in order. Motion by Commissioner Davis. Support by Commissioner Thompson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion to adjourn is passed. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you all folks for being here.
Yeah. Very good. So Travis, so we're not going down there?
No.
Yeah.